Okay, I think we are live. Manny, how is it going?
What's up, Matt? How's it going? Happy to be doing part 2 of the Replit Revenue Cat collab. It's been too long. So excited to be here. Excited to talk to some of these folks that are in the Shipaton. Excited. Also, I'm seeing some folks from our community here as well in the chat. What's up, everybody? Great to see you.
Awesome. Yeah, great. Everyone that's joining, I can see people filtering in. Let us know where you're joining from. Say hello. Give us a wave just to make sure everything is working. But it looks like it is. Looks like we're streaming everywhere that we should be, which is a good start. Awesome. All right, Manny, I'm gonna share my screen so we can get going.
Let's do it. What's up, KG, Kelly, Noni? Got the heavy hitters here in the chat today.
Awesome. All right, so this, for anyone that might not be aware, this is an official Shipaton live stream in partnership with Replit. And I'm sure there's plenty of folks here thinking, what is Shipaton? Who are Revenue Cat and who's this weird Matt guy that's talking? But don't worry, all of that will become clear. We're gonna share a bit more on all of that before we kind of dive into the main topic. But yeah, as kind of Manny said, the main reason we're here today is to go over how to go from idea all the way through to published app. And today the focus is on mobile apps. So we're going to be talking about how to use Replit Agent to come up with an idea, to build a mobile app, to integrate Revenue Cat, which is a tool that can help you to monetize your mobile app, add subscriptions and in-app purchases. And then to do the really easy part, which is to get onto the store and get through App Store Connect. So we're going to go through all of that together. So yeah, excited. All right, so very quickly, in terms of who you're gonna hear from today, my name is Matt. I look after partnerships at Revenue Cat. We'll talk a bit more about what Revenue Cat is and how it works with Replit as we get into things. Then we have Manny from Replit, and then we also have a very special guest in Elias, who we won't say too much about now. We'll wait for the big reveal later on.
The star of the show.
Yeah, he'll be jumping on stage a little bit later. But yeah, Manny, do you want to do a bit of, I think most people here will know you and recognize you from all of the other Replit live streams, but you want to do a quick intro and say hi to folks?
Yeah, absolutely. Great to see all of you, all the new faces in the chat here. Manny, I'm on the community team at Replit, and I get to build cool stuff in Replit and share it with the world. I also get to spotlight great builders like Elias, but we also have folks like Noni. We have folks like KG, Alva in the chat. These amazing builders that are bringing their creative ideas to life, and I get to chat with them and interact with them and support them and boost them up. So happy to be here. Happy to share how to go from an idea to an app in the easiest possible way with Replit and monetizing with Revenue Cat. So pumped about today's show.
Awesome. All right, great stuff. As you all know already, this is live. The main reason we do these things live is so that they can be interactive. Lots of you already in the chat, which is great, but please, please, please pepper us with questions, particularly when Manny's doing the demo. All the hard questions, pop them in the chat so we can get them answered. But we also have a special Shipaton Discord. So if you're listening anywhere else, because I think we're streaming this in a few places, and you want to ask a question, you can also hop into the Discord and do it there. We'll keep an eye on that as well as we're going through. So what is Shipaton? Let me take a quick step back and explain what this is in case there are folks listening that might not be aware of what this is. So Shipaton is the world's biggest ever mobile hackathon organized by Revenue Cat. So this is something we run every year from the 1st of August to the 30th of September. It's a 2-month window. And this year it's bigger, better, kind of bolder than ever before. And really the idea with Shipaton is to get people and incentivize builders to ship a brand new app onto one of the app stores. That's the challenge. It's to build something new, release it some point between the 1st of August and the 30th of September, and to monetize it. So they're the only requirements. build something and launch it after the 1st of August, before the 30th of September, and then use the RevenueCat SDK to monetize. And we'll walk through like how to do that, how to integrate RevenueCat with Replit, and make sure you tick that box. But that's what it's all about. And why should you take part in Shipaton? Well, other than just being able to build something and ship something, we have a ton of cool prizes on offer this year. So we have over $700,000 in cash so far up for grabs. And that amount keeps growing as we have more partners and more sponsors kind of jump on board for Shipaton. We're taking over Times Square in New York in October, which I'm pumped about. We've got some billboards, we've got a bit of an activation happening. Although I'm not sure I meant to mention that because I think the permits are still pending, but I've done it now, so I've said it. But if you win one of our categories, your app will be displayed in Times Square. That picture there is a guy called Connor. He was one of our winners last year with his app payout, so you can see him standing in front of his billboard. You also get to come to our Oscars-style red carpet ceremony called the Shippies. And fun fact, the trophies that we have for you if you win are designed and built by the same company that make the actual Oscars trophies. Ooh. So they're legit. They're proper. They also make the YouTube, the subscriber awards, Manny. Do you have one of those actually?
Does Replit
have one of those? No. Okay.
I'm sure Replit does, but I am well short of getting one of those plaques.
Okay. Well, anyway, it's the same thing. So you get a pretty cool trophy. And then we have some other cool prizes listed there. You get to come to RevenueCat's conference that happens in New York the same week. Some press coverage. And then this year we have what we're calling the Shipaton Growth Fund, which is a group of investors that we can make introductions to who might want to kind of partner and invest in your project if it makes sense. So yeah, some really cool prizes up for grabs. And in terms of how you win one of those prizes, well, you've got to enter one of the categories, and there's a whole bunch of them. And so I'm not going to run through like every single one in detail. If anyone has questions, pop them in the chat, and maybe we can kind of cover them as we go through. But there's more information on all of these categories on shipaton.com. You can go and have a look what's up for grabs. But a couple just to call out. So the biggest prize is the grand prize, $100,000 for the person that builds the app that has the strongest traction, the most growth, the most users in that 2-month window. And it's not too late. So we started 6 days ago, but you can build and ship and get going. And we're going to show you hopefully today how easy that is. And then you've got until the end of September to grow as much as possible. And if you do that, you're in with a chance of winning the grand prize and taking home $100,000, which is pretty cool.
Amazing. Wow.
Yeah. And then we have the Build in Public award, which I'll call out as well. And that one is for anyone that, as it suggests, builds in public. And I think this is my favorite award, because if you go to X and you use the Shipaton hashtag, you can already see people kind of building their projects in public, sharing what's working, what's not working. And that's what we're looking for there, people to kind of be open with what they're doing and document their journey. And so that's a cool category to be part of. And then you can see a bunch of others underneath. Manny, we've got a conflict of interest award, which is for RevenueCat employees and also sponsor employees. Ooh. So that's the one for me and you
Let's go, dude. What's up for grabs there?
So there's no cash. There's no cash because that would be a real conflict of interest. So you still get the billboard in Times Square, which is
okay.
Cool.
I take it. Do we get flown out to New York for that? Get a little trophy too.
Flown out to New York, get a trophy, and you get the billboard. So I think that's pretty cool. I think the trophy would look good on your shelves behind you.
I know. I need it. I'm gonna visualize it right now. Trophy in the back.
All right, nice. I'll quickly call out our influencer categories as well. So one of the pieces of feedback we've had in the past that actually it can be like difficult just to come up with an idea to begin with. And so what we've done this year is partner with 5 influencers across different categories. And we asked them, if you were going to build an app for your audience, because they're already producing content for their audience, what would that look like? And what's the demographic of your audience? What are the features that would be important? And so if you're struggling to come up with an idea, you can just build towards one of these categories. So if you go to the Shipaton website, you'll find all of these influencers listed. You'll be able to find the briefs, and then you can build towards that. So a good place to start if you're kind of struggling with an idea for an app.
That's awesome. Then, so you go here, and then these folks have different ideas that people can pick up and just start building on?
Yeah, exactly. So they've got a full brief. They have a video kind of describing what they're looking for, information on their audience, demographic, that kind of demographic information, that kind of stuff. And so yeah, it gives you a good starting point. And so you can build for multiple. There's no restriction here. I should mention that as well. You don't have to pick just one category. So you could build for an influencer, but also enter one of the awards here, right? You could still go for the grand prize, still go for the best design. You can enter multiple categories. There's no restriction there.
Cool.
Awesome. And then we have to mention the special Replit category. So as our headline sponsor, and we're very, very grateful that Replit have come on board and are supporting Shipaton this year, we have a dedicated Replit award category, the idea to income. There's $30,000 up for grabs here across the top three places. And this really is for anybody that builds their mobile app with Replit, integrates RevenueCat, and then grows it within this 2-month window. And so if you follow, hopefully, what Manny is able to demonstrate today from start to finish, and get your app on the App Store, and you've built it with Replit, then you're going to be eligible for this award. And so this is the one to focus on if you're a Replit builder.
That's amazing. And do they have to build specifically for this category, or can they submit to the other categories and it's just like an add-on that they've built into Replit that they get included in this pool?
Yeah, exactly. So you can just build with Replit, and then you'd be eligible for this category, but you're also eligible for all the other ones as well.
Perfect. Let's go. Who's going to get it? Who in chat? Let me know. First of all, I'd love to hear in the chat, what are you building? Where are you right now? Have you started your project? And let me know which one of these categories you're going to be competing in.
Yeah, nice. I mean, we're a little bit biased, but it would be cool if we had a Replit builder win the grand prize, right? Get the $100,000. That would be a cool story.
That needs to happen, folks. That needs to happen. Okay. Nadia, I'm looking at you. Elias, come on. Kelly, we got some heavy hitters here, so I think we have a good chance.
Nice. Nadia, I'll just answer your question now because it's a good one. But yeah, does it have to be an entirely new project? So it doesn't have to be brand new. It could be something you're already building. It just can't be live on the App Store already. So it can't have been live before the 1st of August. That's the only requirement around that. So if you were building it in July or earlier this year, that's fine. Just can't have been live before then. Great, you're going to join. Awesome.
Let's go.
All right, so I have 2 quick things, and then I'm done on Shipaton. Very, very quickly, when you register for Shipaton, so if you're listening and you're thinking, I can do this, I fancy joining, you can head to shipaton.com to find the details. That will link you to DevPost where you can sign up. Once you sign up, you get something called the Ship Kit, and that is like a bundle of offers and discounts from all of our kind of sponsors this year. And so some of those are folks can help you with the building part. Some can help you with the kind of launching your app and then growing your app once it's live on the stores. And Replit is, of course, part of that. And so there is an offer for 40% off Replit Pro as part of the Ship Kit. So once you sign up, you'll receive a unique code which you can then redeem to go and unlock that. So yeah, go if you haven't already, go and register, and you'll receive that in your inbox straight away. And then final thing from me is we have a ton of in-person events taking part like throughout the 2-month build window across cities all over the world, North America, Europe, Asia, everywhere. So if you go to our website, you can have a look where the closest event is to where you are. Some of them are hosted by RevenueCat, some are hosted by local developer groups and mobile communities. And if you're really inspired and you'd like to host an event, we're also up for that. We can support you if you want to run something yourself. We'll send you some swag, we'll send you some food vouchers, that kind of thing. So you can put on a Shipaton event yourself if interested. So would encourage everybody here to go and check that out. All right, Manny, I'm going to take a breath. That's everything on Shipaton. I think I've covered it all.
I can see that you're very careful with pronouncing Ship Kit. Caution, ship kit. Very neat. Yeah, cool. Do you want to go to the next slide?
There we
Okay,
go.
cool. Hey, all right. Everybody, hey, thank you so much for being here. Really quick on Replit. I know we have a lot of folks here that are already familiar with Replit, but for anybody new to Replit, just a high level description here. And the way that I think about Replit is the ability for you to describe what you want and get a real working app in the easiest possible way, in the fastest possible way. And when we're talking about a working app, we're talking about the entire stack. So that could be design, databases, authentication, payments, with great integrations with folks like RevenueCat, and also the ability for you to also deploy that app and do that securely all in one place from Replit. And so, as I mentioned at the top of the show, one of the great things about the work that I get to do is talk with folks that have never coded anything in their life, and they've been sitting on an idea for sometimes 2, 3, 5 years, and they find a tool like Replit, and they're finally able to bring that idea to life. And so that's a really neat thing about Replit. And earlier this year, we also included the ability for you to build mobile apps in Replit as well. So now you can build the app in Replit, you can deploy it, and you can send it over to the Apple Store Connect to get it ready for approval to get into the App Store. And this has been huge for folks, for builders in our community. One of the issues with building mobile apps, especially for iOS, is that you historically needed a Mac, you needed to work with Xcode. Folks don't want to go through that, especially if you're non-technical. Even if you're technical, that is its own unique stack. It's super tedious to do. And we've been hearing like just a lot of great feedback from folks about how much easier it is to build and get your app into the Apple Store ecosystem. So super excited to walk you through that in just a bit. But first, I think we want to talk a little bit about our guests. If we can head over to the next slide here. Okay, so first, let me tell you a little bit about what we're going to be demoing in just a bit before I bring on our rock star guest. I know all of you are excited to hear from Elias.
Yeah, build it up even more.
I know, yeah, build it up even more. It's going to be so worth it. Elias is awesome. Can't wait for all of you to meet him. So what we're going to do today, we're going to start with an idea, something that I've been thinking about lately. We're going to design it, we're going to build it, we're going to add monetization, and we're going to send it over to Apple Store Connect. And then we're going to talk about what's next. What do you have to do once you get that app into the Apple ecosystem? So we're going to be live building. We might get some bugs. We'll work with them. We'll take your questions. And then at the end of this, hopefully you have a good sense of I'd say 90% of the overall process that you have to follow to get something in the Apple App Store and get it submitted for the Shipaton. But with that, first I want to introduce our very special guest. So we can head over to the next slide, Matt. Okay, we got Elias Reyes, one of the rock stars in our community. Elias first came on our radar during the Replit 10 build-a-thon that we had a couple months back. It was a weekend-long period where you got to build whatever you wanted on us in Replit, and he built this amazing mobile app called Dial Moments. So clever. The idea here is that you have an audio guest book for your events, and since then, he's grossed over $4,000 on his app. It's all verified through a service called Trust MRR. You can go check out his progress. And with that, happy to welcome Elias to the stage. How's it going, Elias?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. Elias, maybe tell us a little bit about yourself. Introduce yourself. Tell us about your background and tell us about Dial Moments.
Okay. Yeah. So I am a software engineer. Went to college for that. Pre-AI. So it was a little more difficult back then. And then I kind of found Replit by accident. And I wasn't really sold on it at first. Because I was building apps, trying to figure all that out. But then I got an email one day and it was like a publish to App Store button. I was like, okay, now I kind of want to check it out. So I kind of played around with Dial. Maybe January early on, didn't get far. But then we had that 24-hour build challenge. I see a lot of people in the chat who are part of it, and that's where I just went all in. Stayed up all night using those credits. I don't even want to know how many I used. But yeah, went all out on it. The community was very supportive with it. Apparently I wasn't even on the radar till the community stepped up and were like, "Oh, check it out, check it out." And yeah, I placed top 10. I think I'm at over 800 users, and like 900 events have been made on Dial. And every month it just keeps growing and growing. Yeah, but it's crazy how far it's come.
Matt, would you mind stop sharing your screen so we can bring Elias here, bring it on the big stage here. Um, Elias, maybe tell us a little bit about Dial Moments. What is the app? What does it do?
Yeah, so it's a very simple idea. You either on your app on the phone, you just create your event for wedding, birthday party, whatever, and then you can share it with your guest using a URL code or QR code. You just print it out, put it on tables, banners, whatever, and then they'll join it and just leave you an audio message. And you can save them, download them offline, whatever you want. But it's a very simple idea. Nothing very fancy.
And this is something that you're able to put together in a weekend, or like I guess how much of that functionality had you already thought through or built out before the
Um,
weekend build-a-thon?
Before the weekend, I just had like a landing page on the website. There was no app. There was no app.
No mobile app. That's crazy.
No, no, yeah, there was nothing really. So I just had like the landing page, kind of playing around with it. But then that weekend came, and I just like, okay, really, that's where the app came from, really.
Very neat. So, I mean, walk us through the process. So, like, you get into Replit.
Mhm.
What are you doing? Like, what are your initial prompts? What were some of the friction points that you hit early on as you were trying to build the app?
Right, yeah. So it was really easy to build with it. I just hopped on the chat, the project, and I said, this is my idea. And then this is what I've used in the past. I use Revenue Cat for my other apps. So I just like plugged it in there. I use this, the different logins. This is my idea. Replit took a few minutes, got it all organized and neat, and then gave me version one, I guess. And just kept growing from there. Feedback, little details. So yeah.
That's amazing. So, like, the build happens in a Replit. Okay, so we have
Mhm.
like the ability to do that, and then talk to us about getting it into Apple Store Connect or App Store Connect and the Apple ecosystem. How was that
Right.
process?
So easy. Oh my gosh. Because I have three other apps I built without Replit. Um, and it can get kind of time consuming. There's a lot of small steps and details to do it on Xcode and then plug everything in from Revenue Cat or different plugins. But Replit, I just, like I said, I told it, this is what I'm using. And then it hooked everything up and then published to App Store. I just logged in with my Xcode account, created a new project, and then it was sent for review. And I think it got approved the first try too,
Whoa,
very quick.
dude.
In like
Amazing.
under 48 hours, I think it got approved, which had never happened with my other three apps. So that was a big win.
That's been the big game changer for us. So again, historically, you've needed a Mac to build
Hmm.
iOS apps, and then also you need to get into Xcode. The
Yep.
Xcode stack is notorious for being very complicated, very
Yeah.
finicky. Everybody knows this.
Hmm.
And so the fact that you don't have to do that anymore, that's huge.
And like
Um,
another,
yep.
sorry to cut you off.
No,
Another big
please.
thing you can't really do with Xcode is the Replit app. So like even if I'm on the road or at the gym and I get like an email, there's some small bug, I don't need my computer. I just go on my phone, fix this bug, whatever, and then it's live. So it's so cool, so quick. How fast you can really build now.
The other thing to call out as well, and I'll share my screen here, Elias, is so you mentioned you have the web app as well, and the other cool thing about building
Mhm.
a Replit is that you can have multiple artifacts attached to the same project. So
Yep.
you have the mobile app that's sitting there, but then you can also quickly spin up a landing page that you can use for marketing. I'm curious, like, how are you using the different artifacts and how are you connecting all of the context to make your life easier?
Right. Yeah. So when I first started, I had one web project and one app project. And then I found out you can just merge both of it. So I told Replit, take this project, I want to build it all on one. So now if I need to update anything, I can do it both at the same time. So like if I want to update the onboarding flow, for example, it'll upload it on the website and then the mobile app at the same time. Makes it easy to use the same images, the UI, all the steps. It all flows very natural, and they match now with one command. It really is a lot easier.
That's key. The other neat thing is that you can have similar design across all of your assets. So if
Hmm.
you have a design template or a system and you have it all in one project and you want to spin up a new page or a new flow on your mobile app, a Replit agent already has all of that context. So it's pretty
Yep.
straightforward to do just like add that, right?
Yep. Yep. And
And
then
then
it's
you're
all
also,
on the same database. It's all the back end is all one. So same database, same login feature,
that's so
same
key.
revenue cat, for example, the payments,
Hmm.
everything. It's all one back end.
That's so key because then you can have somebody set up an account and have all of their activity on the mobile app. But then if you want them to also be able to access their account information on a web app,
Hmm.
like it's all connected to the same database. You don't have to spin up a new database and
Yep.
fork and all that, just like making your life so much easier. And you also mentioned the authentication as well. It's also built in as well. And I think you're also building out some marketing assets as well
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
in Replit, right? Because that's the other thing that we want to talk about too. Like you, like okay, the fact that you ship this in a weekend, amazing. Hats off to you. But what we're finding is that is just like the first act,
Yeah.
like building
Yeah.
something now is pretty straightforward with Replit now.
Hmm.
The key thing is how are you going to get people on your app? How are you going to get people to know about your app and get them to actually like pay you money? So maybe talk to us a
Right.
little bit
Yep.
about that, like how you've been thinking about getting exposure and getting folks on
Yeah.
your app.
Yeah. So mainly I've been doing when I first started, and a lot of it is organic post on TikTok. Um, Nothing very fancy. I'm just like doing photo slideshows, giving tips and information, and then I just like naturally put dial in. So it isn't like a heavy go down the dial, go by, whatever. It's a very natural step or like information to help you, plan your wedding easier, plan an event easier. And it's a lot of it really is organic. I just started playing around with like meta ads, and it's been going well. Small budget, nothing crazy. But I have seen that the meta ads are starting to kind of pick up the audience and customers. So that's been going really well. But like you don't need to be paying meta ads for it. It can all be done organic. It really can. 3 posts a day, nothing pushy, nothing. Make it informative, make it useful for the viewers to want to keep sliding and looking through your page.
Very neat. And remind me what's your TikTok handles? Looks. I want to show people what you're doing there because
Let's
I think
see.
it's
I
so interesting.
can.
So, for if you could drop it
Yeah.
in the
Let me
there's a private
see.
chat here on Riverside. But what Elias is doing that I think is so interesting. And so we have a guest book app, right? Like an audio guest book app, and you can pretty much do that for any big event, like birthdays, anniversaries, corporate events, whatever. Like I think that concept is like pretty universal. But what Elias is doing, he's so uber focused on targeting brides on their wedding day. And so if you look at the TikToks that he's been doing, it's all about that. It's about, talking to that bride or that soon, yeah, that's and like showing her what the app can do. And then he's doing a really good job of putting together carousels and then linking to his product, but putting it in the context of that. And so I think that's something that sometimes folks miss a little bit, which is they
Mhm.
go a little bit too broad. And even though they have a really good app, it's not properly focused on the marketing side. Now, that's not to say you couldn't use this app for some of your other events. And I would
Right.
highly encourage you to head over to Dial Moments .com. It's Dial Moments. What an
Hmm.
amazing domain name! How'd you get that, dude? That's great.
Well, I don't even know because it wasn't even dial moments when I started. It was dial. guestbook or audio guestbook dial. I think I honestly, it might have been Replit. I might have said,
You can
give me
get your
fun.
domain through Replit as well. I should have
Exactly. Yeah,
mentioned that.
yeah.
There you
So
go.
I was like, give me some good names that can work for dial. Because I had dial already because the dial phones, the physical ones, dial, pick up, leave your message. But then moments just worked so naturally with it. And yeah, it just worked out.
Head over to dialmoments.com and use this for your next event. I think it's so cool. Yeah. So did you drop that TikTok?
Yes,
And
it should be in there
all right, let
in
me
the studio.
pull this up here. Studio chat. Yeah, I want to bring this up for this guy. I think this is so cool what you're doing. The other thing that you mentioned, and again, the beauty of having multiple artifacts in one project is that then you can create custom assets for that same project,
Hmm.
and all of the context is there. And so, when I previously talked to you, Elias, you were talking about how like you had to build a custom workflow specifically for TikTok. So like TikTok does not like it if you have a
Yeah,
direct link
yeah.
to your app in the comments or in your on your profile. So you figured out a workaround building a
Hmm.
custom CTA or custom landing page
Yeah.
specifically for TikTok on Replit. Talk to us about that.
Mhm. Yeah, so TikTok doesn't like it if your link in the bio is asking people to like buy or like, put in some information, whatever. So I went on Replit and I said, make this link discover if it's on TikTok, and then it's gonna give the user a little bottom navigation info bar, and it's like, we see you're on TikTok, follow these steps if you want to complete your purchase or if you want to put your email in. And it only appears if you open the link from TikTok. That way it's all very organic. I didn't really have to do much. I just, like I said, threw it in Replit. If they're on TikTok, give them more information, and it works great.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then you also mentioned that you're starting to tiptoe into meta ads. How are you
Mm,
using Replit for meta ads?
yeah, so it's really easy the way I'm doing it. So I have the creatives assets I've built outside, but to build the ad itself, I literally took a screenshot of the meta settings, and I said, okay, dial, the audience, give me the information to put for meta. And it just broke down the audience, the age, the all the information. I just took that, typed it into meta, and published it. Um, so very easy. Took a screenshot, told Replit, let's build this meta ad, gave it information, then I filled it out.
That's amazing. Again, that is the beauty of having all of your context in one place. We talked about this earlier, but I think on the roadmap we should have a meta ads integration, so that
Yeah,
you don't even
yeah.
have to worry about that. Where like agent will know all of the context, it can auto populate those details
Hmm.
in meta ads, and then eventually agent can optimize those
Right.
different ads as well. So you can imagine having agent, you can imagine telling agent like, hey, like, experiment with, anywhere between $100 to $150 every day, do different types of tasks, do different types of assets. You tell me what's going to work for my app and just tell me the results.
Yep.
You handle everything else.
Yeah, because
So
Replit knows everything about dial. So like it probably knows about it more than me in the back end side. So like yeah, it was able to give me all the correct details, informations, audience, on how to complete it.
yeah, awesome. And I'm showing here your
Yeah,
TikTok. I
so
think
like
it's so
yeah, on
good.
those
Yeah.
you can see they're very simple. I have like I think 1 out of 5. I'll be like very straight up about dial. And that's something new I've been kind of working now. Since the page has grown a bit more. I feel like I can kind of get away with it. But early on it was like all of them were very useful, helpful tips. And nothing very pushy. And then if I were to put the price of dial, I would make sure the other slides have prices too. So like it all flows very natural.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, I think the visuals here are spot on for your target demographic, and I love how like it's a bunch. It's actually helpful. Like so, like if you're a bride and you're, this is you'll
Yeah.
look through all these. You're like, oh, these are actually some good tips. And then at the very end, you just sneak in like, oh, by the way, like this is like my app. You should go
Hmm.
check it out. So
Yep.
then so if I'm here, how do I click on this to get to your app?
So you can either go and click the link in the bio I have set up,
Uh,
or a lot of people really just search it because I think if you go, I'm actually ranking now on Google using Replit's SEO thing.
let's
So if you look
go.
up audio guestbook app for weddings, it recommends Dial. And even on like different AI chats, if you type in or you're asking, good ideas for wedding apps, whatever, guestbook, it does recommend Dial now.
Check this out again.
Yeah,
Elias,
and that
thank you.
was Replit's
There's so
SEO.
there's so much that we have in Replit and so much that we've shipped
I
that I
know, I
forget,
know.
dude. Elias, that's a great point. Now we make it easy for you to optimize your SEO and also your GEO, which is ChatGPT and Claude. So when
Hmm.
somebody goes in to ChatGPT, like, hey, I'd love like creative ideas for my wedding. What do you suggest? There's a good chance that Dial Moments is going to come up. But I just search audio guestbook app for weddings, and then boom, like the app, like number one right here. Awesome. That's so cool, man. Um, Amazing. Okay, I feel like we can keep you here all
I know.
day,
There's so
Elias.
much.
But let's talk about your growth. The other cool thing that you've done is you've integrated. So, okay, so maybe like talk to us about Revenue Cat. Where has Revenue Cat been
Mhm.
helpful, and why did you decide to integrate with Revenue Cat? Matt,
Um,
Matt's giving me like a gentle plug, like, hey,
I
hey,
know.
talk.
Yeah. No, yeah, yeah. It was what sold me on Revenue Cat was the AB paywall feature they had. Because I had used that for other apps, kind of like test different prices, see what works, and that paid off great for me. I was able to find a good medium average price users would pay for. And so I was able to bring that to Dial, just the knowledge of using Revenue Cat in the past. And Replit made it so easy to connect both applications. I just needed to put like my keys and log in and all that. So like in a few minutes, I had everything hooked up already. And it made it really easy for me to test out like purchases and making sure the flow was working great. And I love the new awards that Revenue Cat has. I'm trying to get the what is it? They have a new 3,000 monthly one, I think, something like that. So I'm
Get a
I'm
plaque or
chasing
something?
those. It's like a
Well, we
app
have
icon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
let's
have
see.
icons. So we have our own mobile app. So if
Hmm.
you've built a project with Revenue Cat, you can track all of your metrics using the mobile app. And so we have different icons based on yeah, how well you're doing. But we do also have plaques. So I was mentioning the
Yeah.
company that makes the
Oh, I didn't
trophies
know
for
that.
Shipaton. They also make the YouTube subscriber awards, as I said, and we have our own version. I'm just gonna see if I can pull up a picture,
Yeah, so
and
I'm
I can
chasing one
share
of
it
those
with
right
you.
now.
Let's
Yeah.
go, dude. It's gonna
Yeah, but
happen next time
I
we have in the
have
show. You
I
can
have
show it
all my
off.
apps on Revenue Cat. So I think I have four different ones, and it was just so easy. Even when I wasn't using Replit, it was fairly easy to hook up and connect Revenue Cat to Xcode. But with
Mm-hmm.
Replit, they made it 10 times easier, so I'm not going back. But I just love how easy it is to set it all up and flow with it.
Oh, there it
Oh,
is.
I
Got it.
need to
There you
Okay.
chase
go.
one of those. Yeah,
That looks good,
That's what
dude.
you're shooting for.
And
that is
then
what I'm shooting for. Yeah.
you get one of those when you hit 3K monthly revenue,
I think
Matt?
it's the app. I think there's an app icon. Um,
Yeah, so there's
it
there's
might be
there's app
5.
icons is the first one you hit, and then these are, I mean, these ones are pretty ambitious. So these are based on the number of
Yeah.
subscribers that you have. So the silver award on the left, that's 50,000 subscribers. The gold is 250,000, and then this one in the middle, which weighs so much, that's once you hit the million subscribers. So that's the
Wow.
real
Yeah.
peak.
Let's go,
We'll
Elias.
get
Let's
there.
do
We'll
it,
get there.
man. We're gonna get there, dude. Amazing. Um, awesome. So last thing I just want to get from you. Okay, so you've cleared this past month was your highest grossing month.
Yes.
You hit 1,600 this past month. The
Hmm.
previous month you were at 1,100. So the trend is your friend, and now you're at 500 already for this month, dude. The month just started. You're already at
I
500.
I
That's
know
crazy.
we're the first weekend. Yeah.
Let's go. And you were like, you
Yeah.
were on vacation, right? This is the beauty
I
of it.
was. Yeah. Yep. And I was just getting the alerts, and I'm like, oh, this is great. Like.
um, oh, dude, I love it, man. So tell us about what's next. What's your goal? What are you thinking?
Mhm.
How are you gonna take it to the next level?
Yeah. I've gotten a lot of feedback, and people do want photos. And I didn't do it because there's a lot of apps that do it already. And I didn't want to like, be a complete duplicate of it. But people are using Dial, but they're like, we also want photos.
Oh,
And so now if I'm able to bring in customers with Dial and they're already on there, I feel like now I can kind of naturally put photos in without
yeah.
it being like a copy of another app. So I think photos is probably the next big feature. Kind of like a little add-on. So the audio guest book will still be the main part, but photos will be like if you want to add these on, allow your guest to take a photo with your message for this however much extra. I'll probably do the price testing with Revenue Cat to kind of play around, see where the a good pricing range is for it. And then meta ads. That's really what I'm kind of learning right now, working on that.
Awesome, Elias. Can't wait to hear another update. You're crushing it. Everybody follow Elias on X. He is doing such a great job of building in public. Not only is he like talk about like totally building in public, he's even sharing his revenue here, folks.
Yeah,
So and
it's
it,
all out there.
and then on top of that, you're posting great tips. I love how you always like are just willing to share what you're doing, like the tactics that you're using on the marketing side, TikTok. I mean, people would pay for that, and you're out there, you're doing it, you're sharing it. I also love the fact that you said like, okay, this is pretty straightforward. This is easy. Replit made it
Hmm.
easy. I just did it in a weekend. But I think your consistency and like hitting all of the boxes, building it, but also doing the content and the distribution and thinking about new features. The fact that you're consistent on all of those fronts, I think that's why you're winning here. So
Right.
everybody give Elias a big follow on X, dropping some gems all the time. Any other last tips that you want to leave folks with, Elias?
Um, I think, like I said, do your organic posting, 3 posts a day, and just build something that's gonna target the emotional side, because that is where you're gonna sell. If it's emotional, people will probably buy.
And weddings is the most
It's
emotional
and they are
thing,
gonna
right?
spend money. I mean, at a
Yes.
wedding, the budget is through the roof.
Don't
Fifty
remind me,
dollars is
dude,
nothing
please.
for a wedding. Um, so they see 49.99. Okay, that's really not much for a wedding, and they do it. Yeah.
Please don't remind me, dude. But you're right, because it's all about context, right? Like if you're some people like the $15,000,
Hmm.
$20,000, $50,000, like okay, those are
Yeah.
some budgets out there for weddings, okay?
Yeah.
So when they see like like $500 for this, like for this, for the
Right.
like
Yeah.
no problem, like yeah,
And
boom, that's how
yeah,
much we spent on
because
cupcakes.
exactly, yeah. Because like there's audio guest books, the physical ones, but those are like 500, $600, and you gotta rent, you gotta deal with ship and delivery, you gotta wait for the messages to get back. But with Dial, even if people don't come to the wedding, they can still leave you a message. No shipping,
Oh,
no back and forth, and it's all
mm-hmm.
done on your phone. You can download them, and it's so easy, so much cheaper. I mean, people seem to love it. So
Amazing. Can we drop his handle? Oh, here, let me actually just maybe just pull it up here on X for everybody. And then I just tagged him in a post recently, but let me
yeah, cool, yeah.
bring it up here for everybody. I don't know if we can drop it in the chat, Matt, because everybody has got to follow Elias here. He is on a tear. So his handle is Elias X Reyes on X. You're most active on X, but he's also on LinkedIn too if you want
Yeah.
to follow him there.
Yep, and I'm gonna be more active starting. We were on vacation and all that, but we're back now, so we're good.
He's back, clearing his best month while on
Hmm.
vacation. Amazing. Make sure you head over to his profile and hit the bell notification. Do it.
All right, yeah, thank you.
Elias, thank you so much, man. Thank you for coming on. Everybody's in the chat, like so much love, super helpful,
Oh, great community, I
mood
know.
altering conversation for the better. That's exactly what we wanted to get everybody pumped and like show what's possible. So thank you so much, Elias, and can't wait for the next update.
Yeah. All right, sounds good. Thank you. All right,
Cheers.
bye.
Okay, I think we got to end it there. That was like that's the high note right there, man.
I don't think we can get any better than that. That was,
I know, right? Like it's all downhill from here, folks.
Yeah, that was so good. The perfect guess and like the perfect example of what you can build. Yeah, amazing. I felt like I was learning and just taking notes during that. That was very good.
Yeah, absolutely. And then he was reminding me of things that are helpful on Replit. So I'll be sure to bring that up, like the SEO agent, the multiple artifacts. That's all stuff that I think we should talk about. I'm setting up my system here to go through a demo. Do we want to tackle any questions here, Matt? I thought I saw a couple about Revenue Cat, like what is the pricing for Revenue Cat? Can we submit to different categories? So I don't know if you saw some of the questions here that you might want to tackle as we get ready for the next segment.
Yeah, of course. I'll just recap a couple of those things. So the question about categories and eligibility. So just to recap for anyone that might have missed it at the start. The only requirement in terms of like, can it be an app that's already live or an app I've already worked on? The only requirement to be able to enter Shipaton is that the app isn't live or wasn't live in an app store, so iOS App Store, Google Play Store, or the Samsung Galaxy Store before the 1st of August. As long as it goes live after the 1st of August, you're absolutely fine. You can have worked on it, you can have developed it in Replit or elsewhere before the 1st of August. That's okay, as long as it wasn't live before then. In terms of then the categories and which ones you can enter as many as you want. So you can go for the grand prize, the Replit category, best design award, the build in public award. You can go for as many as you want. The way that works is that when you are ready to kind of make your submission, it's all done through a platform called DevPost, which is linked to from the main Shipaton website. So when you make your submission, you select the categories that you want to be judged against, and our judging panel will then review your submission against all of those different categories. So no limit on the number you can enter. You can only win one of them though, and the way that works is that we will, if you enter multiple categories and you're in the running to win multiple categories, we will award you the kind of highest prize. So if it's the grand prize and the build in public category you're going for, the grand prize is the bigger one, the $100,000 award. That would be the one that you would win in that example, and then we would pick another builder for the build in public one. And that's just to make sure we have kind of as many winners as possible. We don't want one person building a mega app and winning every category, but that shouldn't stop you from entering multiple. And then on Revenue Cat pricing, I think we dropped this in the chat, but Revenue Cat is free to get going. You can create an account. You don't have to pay anything to start. It's actually free until you make $2,500 a month through the stores. So if you never go above that, you will never pay Revenue Cat anything. Once you do tick over $2,500, it's just 1% that we charge. So we only make money when you make money, and that's why like everything we do, our mission is to help developers make more money. So we only make money when you do, and that's how the pricing works. But if anything on any of that is unclear, please like drop it in the chat, and I can go into more detail. The quick question on, is the deadline to join past? No. So just to recap, the Shipaton window is 1st of August to the 30th of September. You can register at any point during that window. So registrations are open and submissions are open from 1st to the 30th of September. So you have 2 months to build something, to ship it, and then to share it. So plenty of time left. We are very much still at the start.
Still so early, and in fact, this 2 months, that's a good runway. With that said, you want to get started on your idea as soon as possible, because the blocker for many of you folks is going to be on the Apple side. You have to set up a developer account. That could take some time. You have to get it you got to get it approved. That can take some time. Elias got it on the first shot. I've never heard of that. The fact that someone get it on the first shot, that is rare. Elias is a lucky dude there. So yeah, I would say like just get started as soon as possible, and you can always update the app later. Just get it in there as soon as possible.
Yeah, it's a very good point. Get building quickly. Doesn't need to be the finished product that you upload to App Store Connect and go through app review with. But yeah, prioritize the building, and then that gives you as much time as possible. Elias was talking about leveraging Meta and TikTok and organic and all the content to grow your users. You want to give yourself as much time as possible to do that.
Exactly. That's the heavy lifting part, folks, now.
Yeah.
So and that's where the alpha happens. That's where that's where you're going to win this thing, is like on the distribution side, on the content side. So get there as soon as possible. Okay, so we'll continue to take questions as we go along. Keep dropping them in there. We'll make a note of them, and we'll pause every so often when we're building stuff to answer those questions. So those are amazing questions. Let's keep looking at those. But now let's get into some building. Okay, let's get our hands dirty here, folks. Okay, so here's the idea for today. I don't know about you, but every time I go to the store, I feel like I see 5 new energy drinks that I've never seen before. And so I'm trying to get a little pick me up, but I don't know what I'm getting with these energy drinks. They all kind of look the same to me. They don't have any labeling in the front. So I don't know what's going on here. So I thought for today, it'd be fun to build an app that tells me like how much caffeine is in an energy drink, because I know many folks are just having too much caffeine, and then also what are the ingredients and what other alternatives might I consider, and have that be in a mobile app so that it's on the go, it's fun, it's cool. So we're gonna start off by designing it, and then we're gonna deploy it, and we're gonna get it into Apple Store Connect. Okay, so the best way to do this, you can follow along with me as well. You can head over to replit.com, and you're gonna land here, and we have a really neat new experience with Replit design. This makes it easy for you to get started with that design, that front end, get inspiration. So I like to start in a couple of different ways. You can start by just getting the template. You can start with the prompt, describing what you want to build. For me, I really like jumping into the sketch feature, which drops me into the canvas to kind of gives me a blank board to work with. And so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to look for some inspiration. We have this really nice toggle here where you can look for different templates, different ideas, and you can also look at different UI elements from a service called Mobbin, now included in Replit design. So I have this idea, this energy drink scanner. And so now I'm going to be looking for some concepts like how do I want this to look? How do I want this to feel? And instead of starting with a blank slate, I can look through these templates and look at some of these that might strike my fancy here. So I see this one here. I'll drop this in here. And now it's here in reference for agent to work with. And then the cool thing here is that I can also iterate off of this as well. So if I click on this little plus sign, I'm going to get a couple of different options to riff on this. I can refine this, I can make changes, and I can also reimagine different types of approaches. One thing to know, when you're in Replit, you can now change the model that you're working with through these different agent modes. So we have light, economy, and power. So if we go into power, I see now that I have the options to go through different types of models, both closed source and now open source models as well. You see we have Kimi K3 that's here, that's been really trending as of late. For me, on the design front, I'm liking Fable 5, and I'm going here in the medium type of effort. So I'll just click on that. I'll just have that as my default model. And then I'll head over here to this option and look to explore some different variations. And so this is kind of a nice place to land. You like a concept, you might want to get some inspiration and bring in different types of concepts. So let me bring you over to, gotta log in here. As that's populating, let me bring you over to another project that I was working on earlier here to show you what this looks like from, like, after you've done a couple of these iterations. So you can see here, I started with that same template, and then I had brought in a couple of other templates. I did some variations on this, and I got some inspiration from different outputs, and then I selected the one that I wanted. So if we go back here, now you see that agent is outputting just different types of approaches. You can also go here into the prompt box, and you can also specify what types of changes you might like. So you might say like, hey, make this a little bit, darker theme, add, different elements, or you can even bring in other inspirations to into this board so that agent can reference. So that's on the design front. I encourage you, to spend some time populating this with different ideas, different concepts, different examples. So design, I got a design that I like. Okay, cool. I'm gonna just go with this and start building this process. So now that I have this, I can say, I can say, okay, build, go to build mode, and I click that object, and then I can head over to the build mode here. So this is the design mode where I get the UI. And if I click on that and I go to build mode, now I can start building out my mobile app. So here is where I'm going to drop in my prompt. Let me grab that here. And so if you see here, the prompt is pretty straightforward. It's nothing fancy. You can go into Yap mode here or voice mode and just talk about what you want, add a bunch of detail, but you don't necessarily need that. I find Agent is really good at filling in the blanks, so I keep it straightforward here. I just want a mobile app where I take a photo of an energy drink and I have AI identify it and tell me how much caffeine is in it and some let me know about the ingredients and also suggest some cleaner alternatives. So that's there. And then the thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into plan mode. So why I like plan mode is because before Agent starts building, I'm going to get a detailed description of what Agent thinks thinks that I wanted to build. So I'm going to be able to look at that plan, tweak it, approve it, make changes to it before Agent builds this out. I like this. One, it's a nice description that encapsulates what you're directing Agent to do. Two, it's more efficient in the long run if you do a plan mode first. It's kind of one of those kind of carpenter things where, like, measure twice, build once kind of thing. If you have Agent just kind of rip and start building on its own, you may not like what it builds. That's going to take you, 15 minutes per iteration. And it's also going to spend a good amount of tokens. So I always suggest going into plan mode. And so now you can see my plan is here. I can click on view. And here is the detailed plan that Agent has for me. So the what and the why, what is it? It's a mobile app, Expo. What is it? What does done look like? Here's what it looks like. What's out of scope, barcode scanning, user accounts authentication, purchase store links, etc. I do like looking at this area of out of scope because it gives me ideas for what I might build in the future. So right now, I won't build authentication into this app because it's a demo, but I do like the idea of later on adding that so that folks have the same experience or have their account information both on the mobile side and also on the desktop side. So now my plan looks good. Let me just read through this, snap a photo. Yep, okay, identifies it, ingredients concerning. Yep, flags, okay, that looks good. And then I'm just gonna hit on build here. And so now Agent is going to start building that out. I'd say for a mobile app, my experience has been Agent takes anywhere between 10 to 20 minutes to get the first version of the mobile app up and running. But as you can see here, it is a mobile type. You're seeing the iPhone emulator. Later on, you're going to see the option to go into different types of iPhone screens and to get a sense of what this looks like on other devices. So we'll let this build for a moment and take a moment to pause and see if we have any questions from the chat.
Awesome. I actually hadn't seen, embarrassingly, I hadn't actually played around with the plan mode, Manny. That's cool to see. I go off elsewhere and talk to an agent somewhere else and try and iterate on what I'm doing, and then I come back to, and I didn't realize I can just do all of that in Replit. That's really helpful.
Yes, two things. You can start. I used to do that as well. I used to start at an AI assistant and talk through the idea and then get a final prompt from that AI assistant and then copy paste it into Replit. As of late, we've also introduced connectors into your favorite AI assistants like Claude and ChatGPT. So now you can just call Replit from those conversations. But now we also have the ability to start in chat mode. So you can just go into Replit and just have that same conversation in Replit. And why I love that, obviously, I mean, it's more convenient. So I'm not copy pasting or I'm not setting up a connector elsewhere. That's great. But more importantly, it captures all of the context from that initial conversations. So oftentimes I will start by just 30 minutes, just riffing with agent and saying okay, if I build this, what does that look like? What is the tech stack for this? Is that feasible? Do we have a connector into that service? How hard is that going to be? What features do I want? Okay, I want that feature. Yeah, that's my MVP feature. Cool. Who is this targeted to? What's the kind of copy? What's the name? What should be the name? Have you're almost you have a coach there that you can start off with and have like a full length conversation, and all of that context gets lost if you have that elsewhere. But if you start the process here in Replit, all that gets maintained, and it's something that you might want to pick up down the line. So earlier I mentioned in the plan mode, I saw the option to add user accounts. I'm going to table that for now, but I may want to add that in the future. If I mention that to agent during that conversation, agent's going to remember like that. And when I ask it, like, okay, cool, I got my MVP up and running, can you list out the next 5 features that we should consider building? Agent's going to remember that and say like, oh yeah, Manny, you mentioned that you might want to add authentication to this app as well. Maybe we work on that next. So really great to have all of that context in one place as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. You've actually triggered me to mention something, especially around features, because one of the questions we always get is, again, like coming up with an idea and what to build and what features to include and not to include. And a pro tip I always share when we're doing sessions like this is there's a lot of information like out there publicly available that you can use when you're trying to like refine your app idea. So if you're building an app like this one, like a caffeine scanner, then there may be similar apps or apps that do parts of this already in the App Store that will have reviews. You can go and have a look at those reviews. You can ask AI to analyze them, pick out what people are saying, maybe things that work really well or don't work, or features that users really want. That can be super helpful at this stage as well. So when you're iterating and chatting to the agent and formulating your idea and figuring out what to build and what not to build, don't forget that there's like a wealth of information already publicly available that you can access that can also help you to kind of define your scope and make sure you're including features that are going to be really valuable to people, maybe based on what isn't already available in other apps that are already live in the stores.
Spot on. I am seeing some comments here. Yeah, Mobbin is a huge unlock. Yeah, definitely check out Mobbin. Again, if you go back to design mode here, when you click on this right pane, you're going to get inspiration. This is all pulling from Mobbin. It's a service that I was paying for, and now I have it here in Replit, which is nice. Noni is mentioning that she likes the models. She likes Fable 5, and I think one of the other models for design. So definitely play around. Like if there's you know, you might find like Kimi K3 is better at certain designs. It's probably going to be a little bit cheaper as well. And we also now have this new feature where you can compare different models. So you can have agent build the same design using 3 different models, and you can compare and contrast which one you like better. Just kind of allows you to build an intuition for which of these models to use.
Cool. On the Mobbin side, Manny, this might be a stupid question, but do you have to spin up an account with Mobbin and pay for like a separate subscription to their service, or that's all kind of baked into your Replit subscription?
Nope, that's a very good question. Nope, it's all here included with your Replit subscription, so you don't have to pay for Mobbin separately. No.
Awesome.
Yeah,
we love the team at Mobbin. They're a Shipaton sponsor as well. They're involved in it. So yeah.
Amazing. Okay, we see that it's still building, but like, yeah, you can look through here. Like you can see Airbnb's onboarding. Like, oh, I like that. Cool. Let me drop that. I like that. Let me save that. Interesting how like they have this flow. I like that. And then I can always go here and get some suggestions on how to improve this design, riff on the design. I can also say like, okay, take this design and have it match the design that I've already selected here, and build that out. So yeah, definitely a lot to look through here. And these templates are amazing. Yeah, I highly encourage you to go through these and look at these and just grab them. If you like one, just drop it in here. Just drop it in here. Boom, look at it and get some variations off of that. So let's take a look at our build here. That's still cooking. If this takes too much longer, we'll go over to another build that I have ready to go. But in the meantime, let's look at some of the comments here.
We've got a question about whether Replit builds in Swift or something else, which is a good question. But the answer is no, right? Like this is going to build on top of Expo, which is React Native, and the biggest benefit of that is that's a cross-platform framework. So you can ultimately, we're going to show you how to ship on iOS today, but ultimately you could take the same app and ship on both iOS and Android.
Correct. Yes. Yeah, this is built on Expo. And, you know, the key benefit is that it allows you to circumvent the 2 problems that have existed when you try to build this in the past. 1, that you have to be working on a Mac, and 2, that you have to be coding this in Xcode. And so Expo allows you to streamline that and circumvent that. also, to your point, Matt, it allows you to build for all platforms. So from the same Expo artifact, you can publish it to the App Store, and you can also publish it to the Google Play Store. Okay, so I know I also got a bunch of questions around when we're going to support the Google Play Store. That always comes up. And okay, so a couple thoughts. One is it's you can still send your app to Android Play Store. It's just not as easy in Replit as it is for iOS. That is on the roadmap. We're working really hard. I actually just pinged the team for an update. So see if we get an update here in terms of when that is coming. Not just yet. So if the team gives me an update on that, but it is on the roadmap. It's one of our highest requested features for building mobile in Replit. But right now I say, if you really want to get into the Android Play Store, you can do it. It's just going to be more manual work on your end. But I would advise you to work with Agent to get that up and running. You could just ask Agent like, hey, I want to get this into the Play Store, and Agent will walk you through the different steps that you have to follow. But make it as easy as we do for Apple iOS coming soon. So stay tuned for that. And the good thing is it's going to be pretty straightforward. So once we enable that, turn that on, it's going to be like one click into Play Store, and everything else that you've been using up until then is going to work just as well in Play Store. That's the beauty of building with Expo.
Yeah, awesome. Sorry, I think I introduced a bit of confusion in the chat by mentioning Swift, but someone has jumped in and answered. But yeah, that's just Apple's framework for building like native apps versus using Expo, which and then React Native, which is a framework, as Manny said, can be used across iOS and across Android as well.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so this is still cooking. Keep those questions coming. As you can see, it's got the design. It's got the design that I wanted. Like, here's the design, the inspiration that I selected, okay? And then I can go here to expand this, and go to focus mode. All right, so maybe it's because it's building, it's not bringing it up for me. But that, you saw the design, so let me exit here. You saw the design there, and here in my preview, it's matching it pretty well. That's pretty cool. So, I know for a lot of folks, you get stuck on like that early design phase. Like, this is just a great way, like just to grab something that looks nice and then boom, like get something up and running. And you can see my functionality here, scan a drink, pick from my gallery. That's what I want. So let me hop over as this finishes building. Let me hop over to a build, same thing that I did last night. So here is the output from that. And let me exit that. And so now here is my app. So let's test this out. So here I am in my iPhone emulator. This is like you having an iPhone here in your browser, which is really neat. And I just selected a photo for a energy drink, and then we're gonna let the app run, and we're gonna see just how much caffeine I'm taking down when I when I chug.
Do you want to know the answer, or?
That's a good question, chat. What do you think? Do we want to know? Oh my goodness, here it is. Okay, 200 milligrams of caffeine. And I really like this too. Agent did this on its own. It did this little bar thing where like it's telling me what percentage of the daily guideline this takes up. So if I take one of these down, I'm already at 50% of the recommended dosage for caffeine. And that's bad because I already had a cup of coffee before this, so I'm pretty much at the top here, and so I'm gonna have to switch to decaf. But here we are. We have 0 grams of sugar, calories 10, not too bad. Okay, cool. That's actually pretty good. Ingredients: caffeine, makes sense. Guarana seed extract. Okay, a little description, cool. And then it's telling me like caution, like there's some caution around this. Sucralose, non-sugar sweetener, and then here's the full ingredient list. And again, the design is what I opted for at the beginning, and this looks so neat. Like this looks very clean. I like this. And then also some cleaner alternatives here. So all in all, for a first shot, like my prompt was just that prompt that I showed you earlier. That's it. And I know I have like a pretty neat functional app right at the gate. One other thing to call out here, folks, if you notice, it is leveraging AI. But the thing that you didn't see me do was head over to OpenAI or Anthropic and grab API keys. That's because we also have a built-in integration for those services that tie directly into your Replit build. This is so huge. So I don't have to go to those other services, set up a new account, get API keys, put them in my secrets. I mean, I could, but you know, saving those, maintaining those, having those out there it's another like risk factor, and it's so much more convenient to have Replit do that. And the great thing about this is that it's pulling in all of those models that are available, and it's just charging you the list price that those model providers are listing. So whatever you see on OpenAI's page in terms of what they're charging for OpenAI here, or for the model here, we're going to pass that on and just going to tack that on to your Replit bill, all in one place. So that's an important call out. Again, we're just trying to make it as easy for you to go from your idea to something that's functional without having to go everywhere and set up API keys and mess around with all this stuff. Like, just like focus on your idea and get to marketing your idea. Okay, so checkpoint 1 complete, folks. We have a functional app. It looks pretty good. I like how this looks. Now, we tested it here in the browser. The other cool thing is that you can test this on your mobile phone as well. So here on the right-hand side, you see this Expo Go QR code. So I can just scan that, and provided that you have the Expo Go app on your phone, it's going to bring that up on your phone so that you can test it out as well. So I can open my camera and I can snap a photo. Let's see here. Snap a photo of this here. See what I'm drinking here. Bam. Use the photo. And then now I'm going to test the functionality on my phone here. Sorry, folks, if you can't see that. But it's pretty much the same thing you saw here on the browser. It's it's reading it's getting the information, it's passing it to AI, and it's giving me a nice kind of nice summary of things. So here you are, 200 milligrams here. Same thing that we saw earlier just now as we were testing it. So testing is complete. Like, checkpoint 1 is complete. I've got a nice looking app. It's got the AI functionality built in. I didn't have to go to OpenAI, and I just tested it. Works well on my phone. I feel good about this. Now, the big question that we're going to tackle next is, how are we going to make money off of this? What's going to be my monetization strategy? So we're going to talk about that next. But first, let's go to the chat and see if there are any questions up until now.
All right, we got a few questions. So let's tackle this one first from Zachary. So if I don't like the UI, how easy can you change it? And I feel like you've kind of hinted at already, but that you could just chat to agent, right? You could make tweaks and changes, whether it's small things, big things. But yeah, maybe you could talk through that a bit, Manny.
Totally. A couple thoughts there. One, you can go to the design mode and update the design here. You can just click on this and say, like, make this darker. Or you can grab a reference, click both of these, and it'll bring both of these elements into Canvas and say, like, hey, for my mobile app, make it look more like the example that I have here, and Replit will change that up for you. That's one way to do it. If you don't need necessarily a visual preview and you want to be a little bit more efficient about it, you can go into build mode and start a new task. This is another really neat thing that we shipped, is the ability to put in multiple tasks here in Agent. So here I might say, like, okay, how might I make this design pop a little bit more? Like, maybe give me some ideas and some suggestions in terms of like how this might be better targeted at my demographic, which is folks that are like concerned about their caffeine intake and are really love energy drinks. And so I can kick off that conversation. And the cool thing about this is when I start a task, it automatically puts me in plan mode. So it doesn't build anything, and it can go and do research, give me some information. And the other really neat thing about this is that I can go and start another task here as well. So this is going to be a good one. So it could be like, hey, I'm thinking about monetizing this application. What are like some monetization strategies I might consider? Like, should I do a pro plan, an annual plan, a per scan usage? Maybe like give me some considerations here and things to work on. So I can drop that in there as well. I can drop another task here and say, hey, so I'm building this out. Can you do some research for me in terms of other similar apps that are out there? Maybe give me their names and like links to the apps in the Apple Store so I can check out. Maybe just give me a summary in terms of what they have and maybe like any like glaring features that I must have in my app as a V1 just to make it interesting and compelling. And so I'm dropping that in there. Again, I like chat mode. Like this is voice mode. I call it yap mode because I just go in there and I yap. Like I do free, like stream of consciousness. Like you saw me like just doing that. It's pretty fast. I just like let Agent figure it out. Agent's gotten so good at understanding me and all like the things that I want, even when I'm just like dropping like a whole bunch of random stuff in here. And the cool thing is here now I have these different, plans that are working here. And if I go here to the Kanban board, you see all of the different tasks that are currently getting worked on here. And then you also see that I have the suggested tasks as well. So Agent's saying like, hey, you might want to scan a barcode. You might want to track. This is a really good suggestion, actually. Track caffeine intake across all scanned items. So maybe like the idea is somebody scans it and they say, yes, I'm drinking this. Okay, now track it. And this is a suggestion. And the plan is like here that I can ready to go. And if I want to build that out, then I can just click on start. And the cool thing about this is that, again, this is a separate task. It's not going to do anything on my main build, but it's a great way for agents to start working on this and give me a preview on what that might look like and also give me some research. So here you can see like, okay, so I asked it here for some competitive research and check this out. Drink IQ, caffeine label scanner, the links to the App Store. So like, it's just doing all the work for me. This is so cool. So I can look at this. It's going to give me a summary. What does this tell me about it? Awesome. And then there's no suggestions here. It's just research, but that's great to know. Here's the other tasks that I recommended. Okay, like monetization, like what should I be building out? Like, okay, different options here. Great. And then a recommendation, like a freemium and a pro model. That's really cool. So yeah, I encourage you to do all this stuff in design, or like you're thinking of different ideas, go into the multiple task options and just drop them in there. The other thing I would recommend is getting our mobile app. So like oftentimes I'll be on the go and I'm like, oh, like I just had an idea for that app that I'm building. I just go to my phone, I pull up that app and I start a new task and just yap and say like, okay, here's what I'm thinking, blah, blah, blah. And then like go put together a plan for me. And then when I get back to my desk, I review the plan and I say, you know, actually that was like a bad idea, so let me discard that. Or you can say like, hey, that's not a bad idea, let's go ahead and build that. Or like you can build it on the go as well, like, hey, like I like that idea, go ahead and build it. You can authorize that from your phone, and then when you get to your desktop you can see the full version of that. And again, the key thing here is that each one of these tasks are isolated containers, so they're not changing anything on your main project. They're just like separate forks of the project that allow you to see what it would look like and test it and work for it. And then once you like it, then you can merge it back to the main, to your finished product. So good question there.
Awesome. Related question quickly, Manny. So build it, like using that feature and building different versions kind of simultaneously. Can you do that with any Replit plan? Is there any restriction there? Like what do people need to be aware of?
I have to double check, but definitely on Pro and Core, I think you do multiple tasks on all plans. The limitation is on how many parallel tasks you can do. So okay, on the Pro plan, which I'm on, I recommend for everybody, you could do 10 parallel tasks, and then I think it's 5 for Core, and then I think it's 1 or 2 for the starter plan, which is our free option.
Okay, perfect. Should we keep rolling? I think
let's keep rolling.
Most questions. Let's keep going.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So now let's talk about monetization here. So I'm just going to jump in the main here, and I'm going to ask the same question that I did earlier on this here. So like, What are some monetization options that I should think about here? Like I want to monetize it, maybe add a subscription. What do you recommend? And then also I'd like to integrate Revenue Cat with this as well. So I'm just going to drop that in there, and agent's going to do some research. And again, I like this because if I'm new to mobile app building, I don't know really what this should look like. So I oftentimes am using agent as a coach to kind of help me navigate a new space and have it do some research for me, or make recommendations. The other thing that I'm calling out here is the Revenue Cat integration. Hopefully this pops up in just a bit, but as we set up Revenue Cat, you'll find that we're just going to get a modal here that's going to say connect to your Revenue Cat account. So you do need to do that in advance. You do have to set up a Revenue Cat account. You'll have your email, you have your password, so that when you get that option here in agent, it's just going to be like a one-click connect into Revenue Cat.
I think you can, Manny, can you not create, if you haven't already got a Revenue Cat account and you go through this flow and it prompts you to connect, can you not create the account from there? I don't know if you have to create it in advance.
That's a good question. I'm not,
I think it's.
I would imagine so.
I could be wrong, but I think you can. I think you can create it at that point. So you can obviously set it up in advance, but if you just want to do it at the point at which you're adding it here, you can do that. And then I would probably also call out the fact that, I mean, there's probably people still listening thinking like, what is Revenue Cat, and like how does that fit in here?
Tell us about that.
So maybe I can do the quick kind of 30-second overview. But when what Manny's doing here in terms of like thinking about monetizing an app, if you want to add subscriptions or put like in-app purchases to an app and get users to pay for unlocking content or different things in your app, then you need to integrate with, in this case, like the App Store, like payment APIs. And doing that yourself is pretty complex. It's like a lot of plumbing, a lot of infrastructure. And especially if your app grows, like maintaining that's pretty difficult. Apple will kind of change things over time that you need to maintain and stay on top of. And so that's what Revenue Cat solves. So at its core, Revenue Cat is just a small bit of software, an SDK. It sits inside your mobile app and it takes care of all of that complexity. So all of that complexity to do with integrating with the App Store when it comes to subscriptions and in-app purchases, we look after all of that. And what the Replit agent can do is configure all of that for you. So it can integrate Revenue Cat. It can set up a monthly, a yearly subscription, an annual subscription, whatever you tell it that is your preference or whatever it recommends. And so you don't need to worry about that at all. So even if Manny hadn't mentioned Revenue Cat in his prompt, if he just said, hey, I want to monetize this app, I'm thinking about adding a monthly subscription and a yearly subscription, let's go. The agent would have responded and said, okay, sounds good. Here are some options. And to do that, we need to integrate Revenue Cat and prompted you to connect from there. So that's how the two fit together.
Yes. And then here, because I already connected Revenue Cat in one of the previous projects, it automatically just detected that connector was already available. It just connected me to Revenue Cat. So I just, I got the suggestion from agent and I said, hey, like, let's just do 3 free AI scans per month. And then after that, you gotta go pro and sign up for the annual plan for $25 a month. And so now what agent's gonna do is going to think about, what's a way to introduce that? So we need to like surface that somewhere to say like, hey, like you want to upgrade to pro or the annual plan. It has to build out the functionality to detect how many scans per user so that it knows when to trigger that upsell. And so it's going to go and build all that out. As this is building, maybe this is a good time to go through the Revenue Cat dashboard, because I oftentimes go here as well, Matt. So maybe walk us through this. What are we seeing here?
Yeah, so when you ask agent to add your subscriptions or to help monetize the app, and then you create a Revenue Cat account and connect it to Replit, then you'll have access to the Revenue Cat dashboard, which is what Manny is showing off here. It can look a little bit confusing on first glance, especially if you've never dropped in there before. So you don't actually need to drop into here. When you connect your account, you can stay in Replit and configure things from there. But what you'll see, or the thing to notice, if you scroll up a little bit, Manny, you'll see Manny's got the, a little bit further, you've got the sandbox toggle turned on at the top. Because what happens when you first connect RevenueCat to Replit and you ask it to create a monthly subscription or a yearly subscription, what happens in the background is the agent spins up what we would call test store products. So a product is your monthly or your yearly subscription, and it creates test store products in RevenueCat. So that happens automatically. And if you scroll down a little bit now, Manny, what you can see is you've got active subscriptions, new customers, you've got some test transactions underneath, which we'll get to in a moment. We'll show how that flow works. But basically, you can drop into this dashboard once the connection between Replit and RevenueCat has been made, and you can see the test products that have been created, but you can also see test transactions. So as we go through in a minute and start testing the purchase flow, that's where this will appear. So it's a great place to kind of drop into just to validate everything is kind of hooked up correctly and is working at this stage.
Very neat. And then you can see here that I had a couple of test transactions yesterday on a previous build. So that's what I do like about RevenueCat. I can test it out. I can test the full user experience for payments, and I can see it here. And to your point, Matt, it allows you just to have that sandbox out, so you're not afraid of like triggering any transactions on your end. The other thing to mention, Matt, as we're waiting for this to complete here, Elias mentioned that one of the reasons he liked RevenueCat is that it allows you to test out different paywalls and different options, which is key, right? Like if you're building a new product, like what is like the best monetization strategy to have for an app?
Yep.
Like you can theorize about that, and you can try like doing like one month long trial periods of different options, but it's probably better just to do like an A/B split test of sorts. So maybe like talk to us about that. How do people do that?
Yeah, so I think the first thing to say is if you're building for the first time and just getting started, don't overthink picking a price and then designing a paywall. Like you can do as Manny as you were doing. You can ask the agent for recommendations, and that's the best place to start. Start simple, monthly, yearly subscription. The agent, as we'll see in a moment, will spin up a paywall for you. And the paywall, I think everyone here will know what that is, but that's the page you see when you're inside an app that prompts you to subscribe and shows you the different options that are available. So Replit will create a paywall by default, and for most people, if you're just starting out and you're launching your first version, then go with that. The other option, though, once you start to, I guess, maybe become a little bit more advanced and you're starting to explore like the monetization strategies in a bit more detail, is you can ask the agent to switch out the paywall that it built with a RevenueCat paywall. And so one of the features that RevenueCat has is a paywall builder. So actually, Manny, if you go on the left-hand menu there in the dashboard and click paywalls, there you go. So you can drop into here, and as you can see, you can either use a template, you can start from scratch, or you can generate a paywall using AI. And we have this sort of Figma-style drag and drop editor. Manny's showing here that you can select a kind of template that might kind of suit the type of paywall that you want. If you click into any of those, Manny, you'll see the editor come up on the screen. And from there, you can sort of build out a paywall design. And then the really neat thing with RevenueCat is once you have that set up, and if you're using RevenueCat paywalls, you can deploy what Elias was talking about, which is an A/B test, which is basically where you're just testing one paywall design and maybe one set of prices versus another paywall design and another set of prices, to start to figure out, what the best mix and price points might be. So yeah, I would caveat all of that by saying that that's maybe something not to focus on too much at the very start. But yeah, I mean, Elias, once he got up and running, he published on the App Store. That's when he started to think about those things and start to experiment with his different pricing, his different paywall designs, different offers, that sort of stuff. And RevenueCat enables you to do all of that. So if you integrate RevenueCat from the start, you'll have access to all of this when you're ready to go and explore.
That's very neat. And then if I set up the different paywalls and different options in RevenueCat, is that something that I can, I guess, enable via Replit, or do I have to set up those experiments here in RevenueCat?
Yeah, no. So you can create the paywalls in Revenue Cat, and then just tell Replit Agent to switch out the paywall that it designed for the Revenue Cat paywall. The other big like benefit, without going too much into the detail, but once we get to kind of App Store Connect and we talk about uploading to the App Store and going through the app review process, Apple will review your paywall and your screenshots as kind of part of that process. If you're using the Revenue Cat paywalls and you want to change the design and run these experiments and tests, you can do all of that remotely without having to like upload a new build of your app and then trigger another like app review cycle. So that's one of the big
key.
benefits.
Huge.
Yeah, and so all you have to do to enable that is ask Agent to switch out the paywall it has built with the Revenue Cat paywall, and then you can use the Revenue Cat dashboard once the app is up and running and it's live in the stores. You can use the dashboard then to switch out paywalls or update your design, run experiments, that kind of thing. But again, I think like as a first time builder, if you're just trying to get something onto the store, the paywall that Replit the agent creates will be more than okay. And also you can, as we've been doing already, you can ask it to make changes and tweaks to the design, and then you can switch to maybe using the Revenue Cat paywall kind of later down the line.
Yeah, that's a great tip. The other thing I like about just getting started in Replit, to your point, is just easier, faster, but it's already bringing in my design style because it has this context. You can see here, I've got the little, isn't this cool? It's got like a little battery charger and it says like, hey, I've got three of three free scans left. Again, like Agent, like just always surprised me with little things like that. And then the option here to go pro. So it's still working on, like, this is just the front end, but folks, it's got to build out the back end and the capability, again, the ability to track on a per user basis the number of scans per user, and then like trigger the upsell and then like set up the page as well. So it's building all of that out right now. So we'll just give it a couple more minutes to do that. Any other questions we got here in the chat? I'd be curious, folks, as we're doing this, what are you building? I want to see, like, what are some ideas that are coming to mind or categories that you're going after? Matt, you mentioned you've got like the influencer thing going on. To go out there and check that out to get some inspiration. I know there are like some sites out there that have like, I think this was like Greg Eisenberg. He has a site like that just has a whole bunch of startup ideas that you can go and mine and check out. But I'd love to see in the chat, what are you thinking about building? Where are you right now in the process?
I think the other thing to mention as well is like, it also doesn't need to be like a brand new idea, because there are lots of apps that have done really well where they've taken an existing idea, but they've just like iterated on it, or they've improved the experience, or they've, as I was kind of touching on earlier, they've gone and had a look at all of the reviews in the App Store and focused on the feedback and built something that addresses what maybe people are saying are missing from other categories. I always recommend that to people. But for those that missed it, we have this influencer category for Shipaton this year. 5 different influencers that have an existing audience. They've put together a brief, which is they basically asked them if they were going to build an app for their audience, what would it look like? What would it need to contain? And so you can build towards those briefs as part of the Shipaton competition. So if you'd rather just like take an idea and focus on getting Agent to build the best possible app that meets all of those requirements, then highly recommend having a look at that. So if you can find all the details of that on the Shipaton website.
Also, folks, highly recommend you go check out this interview that we had with Cedric. He's a sophomore in college. He starts like getting into health and wellness and starts learning about peptides. He starts doing research, following along, like what is it? Finds out that people have a hard time tracking this stuff. He builds the web app and the mobile app all in Replit, launches it, makes like 50K in 7 weeks. And so if you're looking for inspiration in terms of just how to like do this, but also like how to get ideas, he had some really good suggestions there as well, like where he was going to different forums, he was answering questions, mining apps already in the App Store, different features that they had. So really good conversation. This is on Replit YouTube. Go to live and go check out that conversation. I think it's like halfway through the show where we get to talk to Cedric of Pep AI. It was a really good chat.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's such a good example of kind of exactly what we're talking about. Going and finding an idea for a specific user base and then building for it, and it just popping off from day one. That's awesome.
I'll drop I'll drop this link in the chat for us. If you can drop that in there, Matt, and then we'll check in on our studio chat right here. We'll check in on our build, and hopefully we're done with our heavy lifting here. Okay. All right, let's go. Okay, am I here? Okay, cool. That's still working. Okay, let's see here.
Still going?
Still going. But we can see here, I can start clicking around here. Okay, cool. Well, let's start clicking around. There we go. It's still wrapping up some things. You know, Agent likes to be thorough, like check its work and make sure everything is cooking. So we'll let Agent cook on that. But in the meantime, we can explore the UI here. So, okay, so check this out. Again, I didn't have any of this before that one prompt. And now if I click into this, I now have this really nice paywall. Check this out. It's like so cool. I like this. Scan without limits. Again, I didn't tell it like anything about like copy or anything in any direction. I just said like, make me a paywall. Here's what I want to be able to charge, and like, boom, go and do it. And yeah, like we're waiting like 10 minutes here, but like I just gave it that one direction, and this looks so good. Like scan without limits, free 3-month scan, perfect. Then you get unlimited can scan, AI can scans, every ingredient flag, not just the top, all cleaner swaps for every drink. And then here is a big button to upgrade to that. So I wonder if I can actually test this here. So let's do that. Look at this, the whole,
there you go.
This is so nice, isn't it? It's all consistent, on brand, good. Okay, this is the neat part here, right? So I get to test the transaction, whether it's valid or it's a failed purchase. So let's go to test valid purchase, and then bam, you're in. This entire workflow, all built by Replit Agent in one prompt. I do this all day, folks. I'm still like constant surprised how great this is. Amazing. So now I get to go to scan, and look at this. It also gives me a little pro tag here. Isn't that cool? Okay, so
that's neat. That's so cool that it did all of
good.
that, and even like the copy on the paywall, because like the easy thing would just be to say something like Go Pro or upgrade to Premium, but actually like leading with the benefit is and it did that without you even prompting it is really cool. Manny, if you drop into Revenue Cat, if you go back to the dashboard, I wonder if we'll be able to now see that test transaction in the on the home screen.
Okay.
So if you just go back go back to the overview on the left hand side.
Overview.
And then we've got sandbox toggled on, and if you scroll down.
So I'm here. So now one thing to note is every time I create a new app, Revenue Cat's going to create a new project here. So this was the project that I did last night, and here's CanWise. I'll probably change the name.
Sorry.
I don't love CanWise, but it's unique. It works, yeah. CanWise.
It's probably available, you know.
I know, like Agent's killing it in copy on all fronts except the main name. Come on, Agent. Dropping in the feedback channel. Okay, so here it is. Okay, so here's this new project now created, just fresh. And here is the transaction that we just tested. So this is 2 minutes ago. CanWise, new sub, $24. And then like you can see like the number of customers that I have here. That is so neat.
Yeah, so that's showing you that the flow is working. So everything has been wired up correctly. Replit and Revenue Cat are talking to each other. You've tested the purchase. We've recognized it. That's all working perfectly.
That is so cool. Let's try out this one here. Let's see what we get on Prime, because my boys have been taking this down lately, so I gotta see what I'm giving them. And I mean, it's still agents. Let's see. Let's click into here. Let's see what it's doing. It's just like, okay, it's updating the Replit MD, so it's just making a note of it. Other thing to note is if you want to look at the files and what's going on, you can hit here on this file tree option, and you can see the different files that it's updating. So it's probably finalizing it. And the cool thing here is that it's keeping track of all the work that it did. So like, what are we doing here? The stack, where it lives, all the information. So if you want to dig into like the details and figure out how Agent is building this, this is a good place to start this Replit MD file. But it should be wrapping up here in just a moment. But
let's while it's doing that, let's just jump in and answer a few quick fire questions. So we got one here about whether revenue cap can be used for mobile and for web as well. So predominantly mobile. So we do have a web product, but predominantly for mobile. Because if you're gonna sell on mobile, you have to integrate with the App Store or the Google Play Store, and that's the bit that we solve. That's the complex piece that we take care of. So that's what most people use us for. I should mention as well, lots of different apps use revenue cap. You probably have apps on your phone using our product. We work with apps that are vibe coded all the way through to like the ChatGPT app has revenue cap installed on it. So it's mainly mobile focused. We have a question. We had a question somewhere on. You've answered the question about when Android and shipping to Google Play will be available on Replit. Here we go. So we had a question about so does revenue cap eliminate Apple Store from taking money from my app? If so, I'm assuming revenue cap is paying Apple Store something on my behalf. The answer there is no. So revenue cap isn't a payment processor. We don't touch any funds. So when you're selling on the App Store, that's all handled. Apple processes all of the payments. They remain what's called as the merchant of record. So they're handling all of the tax and the all of the complicated stuff there. And so when somebody subscribes to your app, you will receive a payout from Apple later on once they've kind of verified the payment. That's what happens. And then, as we said, revenue cap is free, so you don't pay revenue cap anything until you're generating over $2,500 a month. And then at that point, we would take 1%. So we would take 1% of the revenue that you're generating, and then you receive your payout from Apple. So we're not a payment processor, just to make that super clear. I think, do we have anything else we can answer here?
Do we get any comments on what they're building? All right, so let's save that. We'll save. We have another period of building here. So again, I want to see what you're building, your ideas. Also, join the Shipaton Discord. Also, join the Replit Discord. We're creating a separate channel just for folks that are participating in the Shipaton. So head over to our Discord. You can go to community, replit.com/community and join a Discord that way, open to everybody, even free users, and join that channel so that we can chat about how we're going to completely dominate this competition and get to hang out in New York, everybody. That's what I'm looking forward to. Okay, so we're going to have another period to answer some questions because we have to build this thing. Okay, so now I'm all set here. Agent is all done. Again, took a little bit of while. It took 16 minutes. Okay, but listen, man, all the work that I did, and I was just like hanging out, like, all right, I'll take it. I would have gotten a cup of coffee, would have been back, and now this is all set up. So now to recap, I have my app. It's functional. It works. I tested it. Looks good. It's monetized. It's got a paywall. It's all clean, and it looks great. And I was able to just do this in what? We started like 40 minutes ago, Matt. Like, this is so cool, and it's so much fun. This is so much fun. Okay, so now let's talk about getting this into the Apple Store Connect. Historically, this has been a real pain, folks. So let me show you how to do this. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to publish this application. So I'm going to head over to our new tools pane, and I'm going to head over to publishing, and I am going to publish this. So it even built a little icon for me. How about that? Isn't that nice? And I'm just going to go ahead and click on publish and deploy that. And this could take like roughly 5 minutes or so. So we're gonna have Replit agent package all of this up, publish it for us, and then the next thing that we're gonna do is ship this over to Apple Store Connect, App Store Connect.
Should we touch on what Apple Store Connect is and the Apple Developer Program and what you need to do there?
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so Apple Store Connect is the central hub or Apple's kind of portal for you putting apps on their radar, filling in key information for those different apps. And then maybe I could just share this here. This is one that I did yesterday here. So once we get it here, this is where you're going to describe all of the details that you have for your app. So let me actually show an app that I did earlier on for when we first launched the mobile app. I built this unicorn pet thing for my niece, and so this is where I'm telling Apple, like, what is it? Who is it for? What am I charging? What's the functionality? What what does the screen look like? All the details that you expect when you go to this app in the App Store, like all of that information is going to come through here. This is also where you're going to set up payments or just confirm that payments are set up after you set it up on the Replit side with Revenue Cat. And then it's also going to be where you submit this for approval to the App Store team for them to either give you feedback on how to make it better and try again, or to tell you that it's now available on the App Store. One thing to note, that in order for you to submit apps to the App Store, you do need a developer account. That's roughly $100 per year, and you pay that to Apple. And you need to set that up. I would encourage you to set that up as soon as possible, because that is a little bit tricky. For me, it took 3 days to get it up and running, but I've heard people, it taking like up to 3-4 weeks, depending on where you are geographically. Because if you're like in like some certain places, there's a whole bunch of things that go into it. So I would encourage you to set that up as soon as possible, just to have that done. And I would say that this is actually now become the hard part of getting an app in front of people, is navigating this entire setup. Fortunately, we had Matt do it on the live stream several months back. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears there, Matt, on that live stream. But let me try to find that here, and then we'll drop that in for folks as well, for people to go and check that out. Like, yeah, here it is. Bam. Look at that, Matt. 5.3Ks on this, dude. Let's go. People love seeing you sweat.
This is PTSD. Yeah, this is.
So let me see. I don't know if I can. I'll try to drop it in there. I'm not sure if it renders on the chat. It does. Okay.
Does it render? But yeah, we got the link. Yeah, we got the link there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. If somebody else that has right to make sure that renders on the YouTube chat, go check that out. We also had Charlie here, who's a pro, navigate us through that entire process. But yeah, like more and more, getting it approved by Apple is becoming the big bottleneck now. Like, it used to be like building it, like coming up with the idea, monetization, all that is streamlined, as you saw us do. Now this is the tough part. Okay, cool. So let me just go back here and get an update here. So congratulations, it is all built out. The other cool thing is, again, I can build other artifacts. We can go into that a little bit later. Let's stay on track here. So now I've got this published, and now I have this nice option to publish CanWise to the App Store. And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on this button here, and it's gonna take me to the Expo wizard, and it's going to walk me through setting this up. Pretty straightforward. I'm gonna enter in my Apple developer account information. I'm going to get a name assigned to this. You can change this if you want. I'm going to continue here. Then it's going to give me app meta details, like the app name and the bundle identifier. Remember this. Sometimes you have to like use this. And then we're going to create the app. So let's see here. Your app has expired. Let me sign in. Okay, so let me go off.
Yeah, not off screen.
Let me go off screen and sign in here.
And just for anybody wondering, like this, because this process, like you're in Replit and then you're using this thing called Expo, and what is Expo and what is Expo launch? Like the easiest way to think about this is it's just the tool that will take you from Replit. So your project in Replit, it will bundle that up, kind of gather, like put it together, and then upload it to App Store Connect, which is the Apple tool that Manny was just talking about, the control center for your apps that you're going to be publishing on the App Store. So Expo takes care of all of that. So that the flow that Manny will pull back up in a second, that's what's happening here. It's just helping us get it up onto App Store Connect.
Yeah, and folks, I can't tell you how like big of a difference this is. I'm curious, is there anybody here in the chat that has deployed apps to the Apple Store Connect ecosystem that had to do this before this? I'd be curious to hear your experience, because now I'm just logging in here. Probably should have shared that, my identification code.
Just five or six clicks and you're there, yeah.
Right, okay, so I'm choosing the app here. Now I'm gonna create the app. Okay, so Expo Go is gonna go to work on that, and it's gonna start calling it. I need to create a new certificate. This might give me an error telling me that I have to create a new certificate as expected. So all I'm gonna do is go here to certificates. I'm going to delete let's see, the oldest one, revoke this, bam. Just be mindful that if you deployed something with one of those certificates, you're gonna have to go back and add a certificate. But the certificate, I guess I'm not entirely sure on what this is, Matt, but I'm guessing this is like, I guess like Apple's way of verifying that this app is legit. Is really from me. I'm not sure. Let's see here. Okay.
Yeah, so I think it's just like a digital credential that is issued by Apple to you as like a trusted developer, and they only grant 3 at a time. You can only have 3 running, and that's why you received that error. But you should now be able to.
Let's revoke another one.
Okay.
Let's revoke another one. Okay,
come on. It should allow you to create one now.
There we go. Let's go. Okay, cool. So let's see here.
And I think you need to create a new profile.
All right. Boom.
There you go.
Continue. And then look at that. This is my favorite button here in this whole demo, folks. Bam. Launch to the App Store. And then we're going to wait. This can take anywhere between 5 to 20 minutes. But we'll see. The hard part, at least for us, is done. We've signed in. We've clicked through this, and now we just got to wait again for Agent and the Expo functionality to do its magic. But in the meantime, what else? What other questions can we add? We have.
All right, we got lots of folks building. They can't decide which of the several projects they're building they want to do or they want to focus on. But you showed earlier that you can build multiple in parallel. So yeah, folks, you should just tinker and build as many as you want. And then the question around like Shipaton and whether it's available to different apps and Apple versus Google Play Store, a Samsung Store. The answer there is it can be an iOS app, it can be an Android app, so it can be on the App Store, it can be on the Google Play Store, or it can be on the Galaxy Samsung Store. It just can't have been live before the 1st of August. We've got, what other questions do we have here?
Gonzalo here is mentioning that it could take up to a month to get something published in the Play Store. I don't have a lot of experience. I don't have any experience actually with publishing in the Play Store. I would take Gonzalo's word for it. So if you want to get on Android, do that as soon as possible.
Yeah, I think that's because there's a tester or testing requirement there where you have to get external testers. Like I'm also not as familiar with the Google Play side of things, but I think that's what that is. So yeah, if you're going to be building for Google Play as part of Shipaton, then definitely get moving fast. But I think that's why there's a bit of a longer lead time there. The question here on how long does Apple take to approve your app on the App Store? Honestly, that's a tough question to answer. So we'll go back into App Store Connect in a little bit, and we'll run through all of the bits that you have to fill out in App Store Connect before you can then you can send it to Apple for review. What typically happens, Elias, who was speaking earlier, is a little bit of an outlier. He got approved first time round. Typically what will happen, especially if it's your first time submitting, is you'll get a rejection because you may have missed out filling out a certain bit of information, or something you've uploaded needs additional evidence, and it depends on that, really. Depends on the back and forth you have with the App Store review team, how long it can take. So it can be as quick as 24 to 48 hours, but then it can take a bit longer if you're having to go back and forth with the review team. I vibe coded an app at the start of this year, got it onto the store, got it through review, and I think I went through like 4 or 5 rejections with Apple. Yeah, there's this noob over here.
That's typical.
And I think that's pretty typical. But what's good is every time you receive a rejection, Apple gives you information on what's missing, what they're looking for. You can then respond, you can add notes, and then that cycle just goes back and forth. And the more I guess, like, the thing I would say is the more detail you can provide first time round, the more time you can spend making sure you've got everything in App Store Connect. That will increase your chances of getting approved first time.
Ooh, that reminds me, we're working on a guide, right, to help folks work through this. Matt,
that's a great call out. Yeah,
give us an update on.
Yeah, we will have a guide out very, very shortly. It's kind of a walkthrough on basically what we're doing today, like how to build an iOS app using Replit, using Revenue Cat, but it also has a whole section on App Store Connect and then the app review process. So things that you need to fill out in App Store Connect in order to be able to submit for review, and then also some information on kind of common rejection reasons, things that Apple might come back to you on, how to address those, that kind of thing. So yeah, we'll make that available very, very soon. It's pretty big. I think it was like last time I checked, it was like 40 plus pages with all the different screenshots and everything. But the idea there is it's just like a bit of a Bible that you can kind of fall back on if you're struggling with any part of the process.
I suggest just grabbing that doc and putting it
Yes.
into Replit as a resource. Just drop it in there like, hey, leverage this resource and walk me through the entire process step by step, and just like have agent guide you through that.
Yeah. There we are, Ruth. It took Ruth 4 goes. That's a typical experience. That's very normal. Wear it like a badge of honor. I should also mention, actually, sorry, Manny, very quickly. If you do get a rejection from Apple, you can qualify for our Revenue Cat App Store rejection socks. So we have a link. I'm going to drop it in the chat. If you get rejected, we'll send you some free socks. So that makes up for a little bit of the pain. So I'm gonna drop that in. Anyone that's been rejected, make sure to claim some Revenue Cat rejection socks.
I'm gonna need 4 pairs, Matt. Really neat. Okay, so really quick, I wanted to. Okay, so let me show everybody where we are right here with our build. Still cooking here. Publishing to app. Again, it says up to 45 minutes. My experience has been like 10 to 20 minutes here. We'll let this go. But I also want to take an opportunity to plug our design-a-thon that's happening now. So we launched Replit Design last week, and to coincide with that, we have a competition. We got $50K in cash and prize. Okay, it's not $1 million. I get it. Okay, it's not a Shipaton $1 million, but it's 1 week. It's $50K, and really the idea here is for you to leverage Replit Design and build something, make it interesting. Doesn't have to be necessarily like the most functional app or like most like a detailed app, but like we're really focused on like you doing something interesting with design. And so head over to buildathon.replit.app and go and check that out. And then I would say, like, if you notice, like for this, like I started in design for this particular build. So if you build something for Shipaton and you happen to start with Replit Design, it's pretty straightforward to submit for this competition as well, and also get you some free credits there.
That's a great call
also.
out. So yeah, two competitions for the price of one. That's a great idea.
Yeah, exactly. Like you have to do this anyways. You might, you could double dip into these different competitions. There's like no hard requirement on that. The other thing I would say is that as you're building, folks, please, like I would say, I'd encourage you to share what you're learning on socials. It doesn't have to be, feel like anything like profound or anything new, but just like talk about your experience. Like especially like if you're a new builder, documenting that's really great. Or even if you're an experienced builder, like what's new with AI, like that, those types of insights are really helpful. And I would say like drop those on socials, tag me, tag Matt. I'd love to hear these stories. It's a great way to get some exposure. It's a great way to get on our radar. And then, I'd say like,
sorry, Manny. Just to that point we were talking at the start, if you just searching for the hashtag Shipaton at the moment, if you do that, go and do that on X or TikTok or elsewhere, there's so many people building in public. Great like place to get some like inspiration, see what people are doing, see what folks are building, what people are struggling with, what people are having success with. So yeah, I would plug that as a place to go and check out. There's a really strong community.
Please do that, and definitely tag me, Matt. I don't know if you like your notifications lit up like that, but I love it. I love waking up first thing in the morning and like people have tagged me like, this is what I built, this is how much money I made on Replit last night. We're like, it's like a nice little jolt of energy first thing in the AM.
Yeah. 100%.
Perfect. Okay, here we are. Cool. So it looks like we are all set here. So let's go back here and. Okay, so now this is ready. This is in the App Store. So if I click here, manage app.
Sorry, Manny, it's not loading for me just yet. Okay, there we go. I can see your screen now. It's just taking a moment to come up.
Okay, cool. So now this is this published. I don't know. That took like 10, 15 minutes. Okay, so I'm gonna click on this, and Oh, okay. So that's the if I want to have folks test it on SEO GEO, I can send that there. But I meant to click on Manage App Store Settings. There we go. So now you can see CanWise and all the details here in App Store Connect. So this is where the fun part starts. So we're just going to give you a high-level overview of what you're going to do next here, and be on the lookout for that guide that's going to go into detail. And also we have that video that we did, part 1 of our collab, that's going to walk you through all of this. In that video, we walk through every step that you need to do to submit this. But really quick, I just want to call out here the manage revenue cat functionality here.
Oh yeah, I think you just need to. I was playing with this last night. If you just refresh the page, Manny, refresh the builder, and it will. I'm pretty sure you'll then see the prompt to. There you go.
Ah, here we go. Cool. So now you can click on this here, and we got to do a couple of things to set up our revenue cat integration in Apple Store Connect. Good thing is that you just get walked through that here. And so I'm gonna go here to Apple Store Connect. So if I go here and I go to,
and just to explain what's happening here while you're doing that. So when Agent connected Revenue Cat to Replit, we created those like sandbox test products, test subscription products. So we have like a monthly and a yearly product. But what we need to do now is take those products and actually get them into App Store Connect, because as part of the app review process, Apple also looks at your subscription products, your in-app purchase products. And so we have to make what we're doing here, or what Agent's going to help us do, is make a connection between Revenue Cat and App Store Connect, and make sure we can sync the products so that they can get approved. And so the first step here that Manny's doing is he's generating an API, an App Store Connect API key. All the instructions for this, by the way, are in Replit. Like you saw the screenshot that was provided, and it will kind of walk you through what to do. But he's grabbing the API key here, and then we're going to drop it into Replit, which will make this process a lot easier. You used to have to do this all like very manually, and it took a long time, but this automates the whole thing.
So yeah, I dropped this auth key, local downloads, and I'm dropping this in here, and then I'm going here to, so I grab the key here, copy key ID, and then I also need to copy my issuer ID here, go back to Replit, drop that in there, hit continue. Now I have to do enter in-app purchases, so similar type of process. Again, I'll just click on here, which is nice. It just takes you right to the place. This is so convenient. I used to have to look this up on my own, dude.
I'm pretty sure on the last stream we lost like 10 minutes to that, like trying to find the right
I think it was
place.
like 30 minutes, dude. We were like looking at documentation, doing all this. So like I'm just gonna hit on active here again. CanWise demo, generate. Okay, cool. So CanWise demo here. Gonna download that. Gonna copy this here, copy key ID, gonna go back here, continue, key ID, drop that in here. This is a speed round here. And then again, I need that issuer ID. I think it was here, copy here. I think it's the same, but just to double check. Issuer ID, continue. And then I just have one thing here. I'm gonna click on, okay, so now I have to select territories, right? I can't,
yeah, so
can I click all of them, or do I have to just pick one territory?
No, so at this point you're just picking one, but that's okay, because in a moment when we go through everything in App Store Connect, we can update this. So if you want to make this available worldwide, we can make that change once we get into App Store Connect. So you just pick one here, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, Ruth says here, like, just finding these pages in the App Store is the worst. Dude, they make it so hard to navigate this. I don't want to trash talk, 'cause I don't want to get like kicked off like the ecosystem. But for feedback, this is extremely hard to navigate here. Like, I don't know what's going on here. Like finding my apps and going to distribution. Like I always I always get lost here. And Ruth is calling that out. Like it's especially if you don't spend a lot of time here. Like most people will do this once, like every 2 weeks at the max as they're setting up a new app. So like you have to like learn everything from scratch every time.
Yeah, I think especially if you're new to this, if you just signed up for the first developer program, you've never done it before, like it is difficult. But I mean, thankfully, like Agent takes most of that pain away. So there we go. It's synced. That's awesome.
Yay! That's so cool. Okay. One thing to look out for, folks, you cannot use the same identifier for payment plans. You have to give it a unique name. I think last night I had it reused one of the previous names, like an error. So just tell Agent to give it a unique name, it should fix it. But here in this case, it didn't have to do that, which was nice. Okay, so now we're clicking done here. So now what have we done?
So what we've done there is we've basically synced Revenue Cat and App Store Connect together because we created our yearly subscription product in Revenue Cat, and so we had to make the connection to App Store Connect so it can appear there. And yeah, now what has triggered this is now when you click into subscriptions, you can see that a subscription group has been created, is what we're looking at. And within that group, you've got the CanWise Pro annual subscription product. And as you can see there, the status is prepare for submission. And that means that Apple Store Connect can see the product, it's there, but we need to give Apple a bit more information about the subscription product before we can submit it for review. So just to recap, you submit both your kind of app and all of the information about the app and what it does, as well as each subscription product. You have to submit it for review at the same time. So yeah, Manny, if you jump back to the, on the left-hand side, go back down to subscriptions. And what we can do is jump into, so the default, jump into the group that's just been created. And then if you jump into that product, so if you click on CatWise Pro Annual, this is the page that you'll need to fill out for every subscription product that you have. So if you had a weekly, a monthly, and an annual, you would have three different products to go through. Here we've just got the annual. So at the top is all of the kind of identifier and sort of general information. That's all fine to leave as it is. The family sharing is the first thing you might want to decide whether you want to turn on or turn off. That allows folks to share a subscription amongst a group, like a family group of devices. Once you turn it off, turn it on, you can't turn it off. So make sure you think about that, whether you want to enable that or you want to keep it off. And then the availability part, this is where we set where we want the subscription product to be available to users. So if we click edit there, Manny, we'd said the US when we were syncing the product in Replit, but here you can select all at the top if you just want it to be available kind of worldwide, or you can pick like individual countries that you want your subscription product to be available in.
What's recommended default here? Is it just do all of them?
I mean, yeah, for a first-time launch, unless there's any reason why you don't want the subscription product to be available somewhere, then I don't think there's any reason not to do like a worldwide global launch. Maximize the number of users that can pay for your app.
Perfect. Okay, and then okay, cool. So and if you notice, I'm getting pricing here in the local currency here, and it's like making the conversion automatically, which is nice.
Yeah, exactly. So Apple will automatically calculate the equivalent in the local currency and list it there. You actually can go in and specify like individual pricing. So we kind of talked about that earlier about testing different prices and your monetization strategy. If, for example, you wanted to charge users in a specific country more for the subscription or less, you can do that. But for first time, just getting going, you can go with what Apple suggests here.
Okay, so let me go ahead and confirm that. And as we're doing that, we're in overtime now, folks. So if you want us to stay on overtime, let us know in the chat. I think this is good. I don't think we have much more to cover here, but I think we want to do some last minute things. But I do want to mention killgut.com. Can Agent do all this for me? Unfortunately, not yet. Working on it. It'd be so great if we can have an MCP into App Store Connect and do all this for you. Cannot. Best thing I would recommend is have Agent walk you through all the details you have to put in for the submission. Have it write it out. There's a privacy URL that you need as well. Have Agent build that out for you. Like just help, like have Agent help you as much as possible, and you just copy paste here. But unfortunately, not just yet. But looking forward to it. Okay, and then Yeah.
If you
So
scroll down a little bit
yep.
further, just make sure there's nothing else to check. Oh yeah, so sorry, at the bottom, Manny, the other bit we need to click on is localization. So if you click the add localization, this is just the description of the product that's going to appear in the App Store. So when someone clicks on your listing and there'll be a description of the products. So if you just pick your local language, so English, enter a display name.
Like CanWise?
Yeah, CanWise, like annual plan or something, or CanWise is but display name it. Yeah.
This is the display name for the product, okay? Yeah.
For the product, yeah, for the thing, yeah, exactly, for the subscription product.
Damn. Okay, save that.
Save that, and then we have an image underneath that is optional, so you can ignore that. The tax category stuff you can leave as it is, nothing to change there. And then the review information, so this is important. So here we need to upload a screenshot of our paywall that shows the subscription product that we're describing here, that shows that annual plan. And again, the reason for that this isn't public facing, it's not going to appear anywhere on the public like App Store listing, but it's for the Apple review team. So they will look at this to make sure that kind of the product that we're describing here matches what's appearing on the paywall. So you can generate a paywall, a screenshot. You can get, as Manny's doing here, get Agent to create a quick screenshot for you, or take one on the device and upload it there.
I'm just giving a little context here so it knows. Got a little screenshot. This is for App Store Connect. Drop it in there. Oh, probably didn't need the plan mode there. Oh, it's a task, so it's going to do it. Okay, cool. Awesome. We'll wait for that. And then we have some...
So there's something in there already. I think Agent might have maybe uploaded that already. We can leave that there. See if I know it's not right, but it just for the purposes of a demo. If you now click Add for Review at the top, Manny, see what happens. Okay, so that's okay. We can't submit because we need to fill out other information, but that's all right. It's created a draft submission. And if you scroll back to the top of the page, hopefully you'll see the status. There you go. So the status at the top is now changed to ready for review. On the left-hand side, you'll see the little yellow indicator. So that means we've now filled out all the information that Apple is going to need about this subscription product. So we're making progress.
Bro,
it might not feel like
this feels a lot better than a couple months back. So because it was a newer integration and rolling out. So I was like, Matt, why don't you take this one? Why don't you, be good for you to demo all this, dude. So poor Matt, I threw you in front of the bus on that.
Exactly. It's unfortunately, it still remains a little bit of a manual process. Like Agent does basically as much as it can. It gets you as far as possible, but this part you're still going to need to do. So if we go back now, Manny, to the subscription groups, if you click on default at the top and it takes you back to the group, as I mentioned, if you had multiple different subscription products here, so imagine we had like a monthly and a weekly, they would also appear here because the agent would have synced those to App Store Connect, and you'd have to fill out all that information for those products as well until you see the status ready for review. So just a call out to make sure you step through that process for every subscription product that you have. And now you'll see that under default at the top, we still have a prepare for submission status. Now that's referring to the group, the subscription group. The way to change that to ready for review is if you scroll down, Manny, you'll see there's a localization button, click create. And this is just basically doing the same thing that we did at the product level, but for the group level. So you can just give the subscription group a display name. And yeah, you can leave that as use the app name. And now if you hit, once that's done, if you hit add for review, it's thinking. There we go. So yeah, if you click add for review now, what that will do is it will package, you can click draft submission. So we're creating that draft submission every time we click add for review. We're kind of adding parts of this to the review that Apple is gonna see. There we go. And now you can see on the left-hand side of the screen under where it says default, the status for the subscription group has now also changed to ready for review. So that means that all of your subscription group and all of your subscription products within the group are now ready for review by Apple. And so you have to go through this process as well as filling out all the other information in App Store Connect.
Amazing, dude. This is great. So much smoother. I mean, this is the thing. Like, it's getting better and better and easier and easier. People are asking, like, can agent eventually? Yes. So just start working on this, folks. And if there's some friction points, just know that it's probably going to get better. Because you can go and look at the replay that we had a couple months back. It was like much more painful to do all of this. So just get started, and it's going to get smoother for everybody. This is great.
One quick call out, Manny. I know we're running a little bit over time, but
we're in overtime.
We're in overtime. We're gonna keep rolling. This will be useful to people when they're watching this back.
Totally.
If you could just jump into the revenue cap dashboard quickly, because I just want to make sure it's clear kind of what's happened on that side as well. So back into the revenue cap dashboard. If you click on the product catalog on the left-hand side, and you click on products.
Yep.
There we go. So what we're looking at here is you can now see. So when we go all the way back to the start of this demo, when Manny was connecting Revenue Cat and Replit, we created that test store product, which is the one at the very bottom. So that's like the sandbox product. But then we also created the actual real like iOS product, the real yearly subscription. And that's what you can see there called CanWise Pro Annual in the iOS box at the top with the status ready to submit. And that's because we've gone into App Store Connect, we've filled out all that information that we've just been through. And so now Revenue Cat can see that product in App Store Connect. It can see that it's like ready for submission and we've filled out everything. And so the status in Revenue Cat is also ready to submit. So it's just worth making sure that you're seeing the same status on both sides, because that means the sync between App Store Connect and Revenue Cat is working and everything is good there. Because if it's not, bad, but if it is, good.
Yes. That's great. Awesome. Anything else to call out on the payment setup? And let's see if I got my gotta start building on that. Because is there anything else we have to do on the payment setup, or do we just go to the submission for the app here?
Yeah, so that's it for the payment stuff. So just to make sure you do all of that for the payment stuff. But once you've done that, you're good for all of your like subscription products. Once you've stepped through those bits.
That's great. Yep. And then now, like, the tedious part here is filling out all of the information for the submission, right? Like where you have to add your screenshots and all that. Remind me, where do I do that again?
So if you click where it says prepare for submission, it's really not that intuitive. So the top left, of the
it's clickable. How do you know that?
I know, right?
Come on.
Yeah, it's a challenge. So okay. This is where you would, this is where you do all of that.
Awesome. Yeah. So you have screenshots here, description, all of this. And again, I would just go into agent and say I'm getting ready to prepare this for Apple Connect store review. There's a bunch of different fields that I have to fill out, such as the description, promotional text. Can you kind of prepare all of that for me and put it in a doc for me to copy paste it over? And then I'll just drop that there.
Yeah, perfect. This used to be the most painful. I mean, it still is. It's still a little bit tricky to navigate, but this used to be so much more difficult to do because you'd have to create all the screenshots manually. You'd have to figure out what you were going to put in all of your promotional text. But yeah, you can just let Agent help you with this. Just for people, so everyone is aware. Like on that page that Manny was on in App Store Connect, where you're uploading screenshots and you're adding promotional text. That's the information that appears on your App Store listing. So when your app goes live in the store and you search for it in the App Store, that's the information that a user will see. So they will see screenshots of your app. They'll then see your description and everything else. And so that's what you're filling out there. And so it's important to spend time and effort making sure that all the information there is accurate and is good, because that's what people will see when they search for your app in the store.
That is so important, for sure. For the screenshots, I think Agent can generate those now. We'll see. And then otherwise, I just dropped into Canva and I put something together there as well.
Yeah, there are a lot of third-party tools that can
Oh,
help
right.
with generating screenshots now, but I'm pretty sure Agent will be able to do it. And then yeah, we have some the guide I keep hinting at. We have some advice on like what to include in your screenshots. But yeah, it's a lot easier now to create those than it was you know, a year ago when you had to do that manually.
Okay, so it's saying here in attached assets, I should have an image here. Canwise, where is that? Deliverables. Let's see how this looks like. Oh, cool.
I'm still looking at the previewer here. I don't know whether.
Are you on Replit? Did you see Replit?
I can just see Replit. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so I was just going back here to, if you remember, I asked it for a screenshot of the paywall. Do you see the screenshot?
It looks like it. No, it looks like it might. Oh wait, there we go. Sorry, maybe it was frozen, but yeah, we can see it. I can see it now. I can see the screenshot now.
Yeah, so it actually did a really good job of generating the screenshot. So I think Agent will be able to generate these screenshots, and it looks like it's right. It's correctly proportioned. And if you notice, it told me where it parked it. So I just, again, to get all of your files for this project, head over here. I go to the files, and then I just find it here in deliverables, and here it is. And then I'll just grab this and download this, and then
Awesome.
boom, it's gonna be ready to go. Okay, cool. And then let's see here. So Apple start building. That's the one thing you have to remember on this. You have to start building because you're in plan mode. Okay, cool. All right, folks, that was awesome. We had to go 20 minutes of overtime, folks, but we had to finish this. Dude, did we get any bugs here, Matt? What's going on?
I don't think we did.
Holy Toledo!
I'm kind of a little bit annoyed, right? Like my live stream was peppered with bugs, and you've just flown through no problem whatsoever.
You're the trailblazer, dude. You're the wind beneath my wings, dude. You go first. Oh man, that was so good. That was so much fun. I think, yeah, you got the full end-to-end process. I mean, really, like the bookends is what we didn't cover, which is like, how do you come up with that idea? But we gave you suggestions there, and then also like, how do you submit it finally into the App Store for review? But everything else in between, like that 90% of the work that goes, I think we covered it all live as well. We had Elias kind of give you like a really good example of how he did this over the weekend and how he's going about growing it. And the nice thing about all this being streamlined is that it just gives you more time to focus on the things that matter, which is promoting your application, the content, the distribution, the onboarding, the churn, the analytics, all that stuff that, really ultimately is like going to determine whether or not your app is a success or not. So I am so pumped about this.
Thank you, Manny. Yeah, I mean, and thank you for running through all of that, because it's no mean feat, but yeah, it's awesome, and yeah, there you go. It's the caffeine that's been fueling you. But no, it's great, and it's so much easier now than ever before to build a thing. So to build something, to get it on the App Store, yes, it's like a bit of a wrestle to get through App Store Connect and get all of the information. But yeah, you can get it on the store, and if you take part in Shipaton, you can win big as a result. So yeah, I would just encourage everybody to give it a go. We have the two Discord. We have Replit's Discord. We have our own Shipaton Discord. So if you're fired up after this, but you still have questions, whether it's on like just the building piece, whether it's on the App Store Connect piece, or anything else, like just encourage everyone to jump into Discord, ask away, and we can help out there.
Yes, and please share what you're building on socials. Tag me, tag Matt, tag Rymar, Francisco, the whole community team here at Replit. We love to see that, and just keep me posted on what you're building. Also, let us know what was helpful. What didn't we cover that would have been helpful for you? We might come back and do a part 2. And another thing we've been talking about, Matt, is just doing more of this, because for us, we're seeing so much interest and folks building mobile on Replit. And so I feel like there's a lot of stories out there. Like when I was looking at the folks to bring on to the show, we had like 10 20 people that I thought would have been good for that segment. So if you want to see more of those stories and get those profiles, let us know. The vibe coding guide is in progress. That should drop sometime soon. What I would recommend is follow me, Matt, on socials, get into our Discords, and I'm sure once that's available, we'll drop it in there as well. If you RSVP'd on our Luma page for this event on the Replit calendar, then I'll do a follow-up email and be sure to include that as well.
Awesome. Great stuff. Well, thank you very much, Manny. That was great. And thank you everybody for tuning in, for asking the questions. There was a ton of engagement, which is great to see. So appreciate it. And yeah, best of luck shipping. Good luck building. Can't wait to see what everyone comes up with.
Do we have a music feature here in Riverside? Do you know? Because we usually like to sign off our
Well, I saw
streams.
someone say, Manny, do the dance. Do you have like a dance you do to end every live stream?
Well, we play a little music, you know, we jam it up a little bit, especially like today that we got no bugs. Like, I'm feeling like I need to get it out, and plus I have like all this energy in me, all this caffeine in me, so I got to get a dance off. So
I wish you'd given me warning.
There we go. I hear it.
Is that me? Is that
I'm
music?
hearing it. Yeah.
There you go. Should I be dancing?
You should be dancing. You should be dancing, definitely. If you're watching, you should be dancing too. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
We'll see you on the next one. Cheers.